But the applause in the background that you can hear is because the two teams are making their way out onto the field at the John Smith Stadium. Huddersfield Giants in their claret and gold away to the left. The Rhinos are going to play in their traditional home strip, if you will, of blue and amber, led out respectively by Danny Brough and of course Kevin Sinfield for the pre-match photographs. So loads to play for here tonight, and the Rhinos possibly taking a risk or two with the likes of Kevin Sinfield and Rob Burrow in the side. Brett Delaney as well, who wasn't even named in the 19, as Phil Kaplan mentioned earlier, now runs off the bench as well for Leeds. Jamie Peacock and Kylie Luluai will start from the Rhinos bench. No Jake Connor for the Giants. Leroy Cudjoe and Joe Wardle alongside him in the centre tonight. Wardle of course switched back from the second row, and Brett Ferris is back in that Huddersfield Giants side. Two extremely strong teams will battle this out. Leeds have been out and clear for so long. 6 points at one stage, but of course they've had the Wembley wobbles in the last 3 weeks, and now sit top of the table by virtue of points difference. They are 57 better than Wigan as far as that's concerned. Both clubs on 39 points. The Giants a point behind on 38. St Helens are done for the league rounds at least, 30 games played, and they have 38 points themselves. Helicopters are waiting, and we're awaiting the outcome of this one to decide the league leaders' shield for the most consistent side up to this point of the campaign, and then there's playoffs to come next week, and of course the grand final at Old Trafford 2 weeks tomorrow. Zach Hardacre gets us underway with the right boot. Leeds kicking from left to right, that's towards the big car park, the Chadwick Lawrence end of the ground, and Huddersfield then will look to play out this first set of six, and they have it with Leroy Cudjoe deep inside their own half. Let's just have a look and see what enthusiasm we've got from the respective sides in these opening moments now. Craig Hubie for Huddersfield. The Rhinos get 3 and 4 up there to form a defensive wall, headed up by Cuthbertson to tackle him inside his own 20. Kick early in the tackle count here from Jamie Ellis, straight to Zach Hardacre, who's halfway inside the Leeds half and will come back towards halfway and try and skirt the Giants defenders. And so Huddersfield already trying to turn it round on Leeds and give them the ball, but deep inside their own half. Did it work?
First off, great kick-off from Leeds, amazing kick-off, spiral short torpedo bomb almost from Hardacre, and it's got that big game feel about it, hasn't it? Sinfield already smashed to the floor. This game is massive already, Jonathan.
Here's Joel Moon in possession for Leeds, way out on their left hand side, 22 from the Huddersfield line. Rob Burrow goes in at dummy half, finds Cuthbertson, who's looking keen and almost breaks the line, and he's held just short of 10 metres out. Burrow goes short side to Maguire, quick hands to Joel Moon, well watched out there in defence by Jermaine McGilvray out on the far right flank, and Huddersfield have come up with the ball.
It was a great tackle, Jonathan. It was that good. He even pinched the ball one-on-one, stole the ball from Moon. You know, nobody does that to Joel Moon. He's been the star centre with Watkins this season, and McGilvray, who's arguably the star winger, just smashes him to the floor and in his way down pinches the ball. Brilliant from McGilvray.
Yeah, fantastic strength from the leading try scorer in the competition. Long ball here from Danny Brough out to Jack Hughes on the right flank. Second row forward, of course, for the Giants. They're 5 metres inside their own half. Robert Hicks trying to get Leeds back the 10, but they're quickly off that line to meet Craig Kopchak, who has been more often recently running off the bench, but is starting tonight for the Giants as they mix things up perhaps a little bit. Here's Brough out to Wardle down this near side the left to Aaron Murphy, who's going to put the kick in, and across there is Zach Hardacre. Good chase here from Grix. Hardacre, will he make it out of his own in-goal area? No, that's a superb Huddersfield Giants chase, and first blood, if you like, in the game goes to the Giants in that they've held Leeds over their own line, and it's going to be a Rhinos dropout here.
Yeah, great play from Aaron Murphy. I'm a massive admirer of Aaron Murphy. You know, McGilvray takes all the plaudits this year and he's had an amazing season, but Murphy isn't too far behind him, and you know, just comes up with plays. He's tough as teak. You know, drops the ball on his boot there, perfectly weighted into the in-goal area and chased it up and, you know, and smashed Zach Hardacre in the in-goal. Super start from the Giants and a really good early opportunity to score some points.
So a chance for the home side to mount some pressure. Jamie Ellis takes Kevin Sinfield's drop out on halfway and feeds Craig Kopchak. The big Welsh international stopped after a 15-metre burst. Now his prop partner Craig Hubie just inside the Leeds 20. Robinson chooses to go short side, the far side. Ellis gets it away to Cudjoe. Cudjoe turns back on the inside, half tackled. The ball's come loose. It's been hacked on by Ablett, who's held back by Robinson. Knock on against the Giants, says referee Robert Hicks, and he will pack a scrum down and give the feed to the Rhinos.
So I think Luke Robinson and Carl Ablett had a right go at him there and pushed him. He was just apologising and shook hands, but Robinson's really lucky there not to be in the bin, because what happened was it was certainly a knock on by Hooby. He lost the ball, but Ablett was first to react. He booted the ball and he had the pace to get past Robinson, and we're just watching it there. Robinson certainly pulled him back, and I know we're talking 50-60 metres, but Leeds could have been attacking the 20 metre line there, and Robinson's a huge slice of luck not to be spending the next 10 minutes in the bin.
Cheeky chappy Luke Robinson, of course, but he might have just stepped over the mark there and got away with it. Here is Mitch Garbutt for Leeds. A wall of claret and gold defence, though, 4 men driving him back. It's serious stuff tonight between these two sides, as you'd expect. Brad Singleton in possession for Leeds. Plays it now, and it's with Burrow, who feeds his man on the inside. That was Stevie Ward. Cuthbertson named it loose forward on the team sheet tonight. You think about all those offloads he's made this season, how Leeds would love 3 or 4 perhaps tonight that just make that bit of a difference. Here's Kevin Sinfield with the kick on the last tackle. Grix, well positioned, takes that comfortably just shy of his own line and hands it on to McGilvray, who's met by a decent chase.
Yeah, decent chase. We've been playing 4.5 minutes, Jonathan, and it's already better than the 80 that we saw last week, Mark and I, at Hull. It's been a really good, intense, almost semi-final sort. You can feel it, can't you? The teams stand on the tiptoes and they can see the final. You're 3 weeks away, and you can tell that this game means a lot to both sides.
Yep, really does mean something. Jamie Peacock just standing down below our commentary position by the dugout, itching to get out on the field. Meanwhile, kick from Jamie Ellis has gone out on the full on the far side. The first real mistake from either side in the contest so far, and it means that the scrum's going to pack down here 10 metres inside the Huddersfield half, and Leeds have another opportunity to mount some pressure here. Yeah,
I think the play was the other way there. I think Danny Brufford called he was going for the 40-20, and the pass from Luke Robinson went to his right hand side and into his half-back partner Jamie Ellis, and Ellis just continued with the play and went for the 40-20, but he got it hauled wrong, kicked out on the full, and as you say, real good attacking opportunity for Leeds to, if not score some points, finish right on the Huddersfield line.
So here's Garbutt then for the Rhinos, 30 metres out, just to the right of centre, plays the ball, and it's through the hands of Burrow, Sinfield and Maguire. Callum Watkins, lovely flick ball onto Joel Moon. McGilvray shot out of the line, tried to intercept. Moon did well and made his way back in field before taking the tackle. Cuthbertson now for Leeds. He's trying to turn and offload, can't get the ball away on the 10. Castleford did a good job on him last week, and Huddersfield so far doing the same. Ward, Watkins, now it's Hardacre coming into the line, flicks the ball out, hopeful ball out to Tom Briscoe. Briscoe wasn't really expecting that, was slightly on the back foot, and the ball has bobbled away into touch on this near side.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, Jonathan, about Leeds, apparent loss of form since Wembley, and I think a lot of that coincides with Zach Hardacre. I think he's been amazing all season, and the last couple of weeks he just dropped off a little bit, and again there that was a silly pass from him, no need to do it, and the better option was certainly to hold the ball as we look at the big screen, and if Castleford scored the first try over at the DW.
It's looking like Wigan have got the ball on the replay we've got. Yep, trying the right hand corner for Wigan, so at least 4-0 there, which is a blow to either of these sides, I guess.
I think the big thing, Jonathan, is, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to the trophy, I think the home draw in the semi is vitally important, and that's what's on here for these two. The winner of this game, there's a fair chance they're going to play each other again, but where's it going to be? Both sides want to be at home.
Yeah, they certainly would like that bit of an advantage. These two sides could play each other either here again next week or over at Headingley,
and that's the likely scenario, isn't it? You've got to say.
And if that does take place, whichever stadium it's at, it will be on Friday night, we're told, as the kick comes in here deep into the Leeds half of the field. Zach Hardacre fields that just in front of his own goal line. Tom Briscoe's gone back looking to help out, and is now appearing over on the left hand side, and he just makes it out of his own 20. We're 8 minutes in almost, and it's Huddersfield Giants 0, Leeds Rhinos 0, and the first penalty of the game goes the way of the visitors here for offside.
Yeah, and just while we've got a break, next weekend arguably could be the biggest game of weekend of rugby league in our history in Super League, couldn't it? We've got two massive semi-finals. We know the 4 teams. We've got a fair idea of the makeup of the semis, who's going to play who, and then throw in the £1 million game on the Saturday as well. Wow, great weekend for rugby league next weekend.
Yeah, could be another Saints Wigan derby and a West Yorkshire derby as well for us.
And then throw in Wakefield Bradford on the Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see how it all pans out, but exciting times as we come towards a conclusion. We ain't even mentioned Leeds against New Zealand or England against New Zealand and France to come in the coming weeks. Here's Adam Cuthbertson in possession for the Rhinos. Plays the ball now to Burrow, switches play back to the left, where Danny Maguire floats the ball out to Joel Moon, and Moon tries to step his way between Cudjoe and Ellis. Good tackle in the end from Leroy Cudjoe. Ball spun back in field, where Sinfield picks it off his bootlaces. Stevie Ward's found a gap. Stevie Ward has got across the line and has registered the first try of the game from seemingly absolutely nothing. Somebody has dropped off there in the Giants' defence, and it's Huddersfield 0, Leeds Rhinos 4.
Yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely nothing on there. Dazzling foot from Stevie Ward. Just stepped off his right foot, back off his left, found himself in a hole, and had enough strength and presence of mind to dive over the line and get the first points of the evening. A lot of great work from Leeds in the middle of the field. Cuthbertson heavily involved in the opening 10 minutes. He hasn't managed to offload the ball, but what he has done is dragged in defenders and created space on the next player for other players, and that's exactly what happened there with the ball from Sinfield. Just stepped inside Waterloo, just jumped out the line just a little bit too much, left too much for his inside defender. He couldn't get across to make the tackle, and first try, as you say, to Leeds. Stevie Ward in front of those Leeds fans. Great start from the Rhinos.
So 4-0 to the Challenge Cup holders, Kevin Sinfield. We know that he's obviously closing in on the end of his career. We're not going to see him having too many more of these conversion attempts. Wigan, by the way, missed their conversion attempt, so they lead by 4-0 against Castleford over at the DW. Make that 8-0 already, apparently. Matt Bowen has scored their second try. Kevin Sinfield, meanwhile, adds the extra 2 here, so it's Huddersfield 0, Leeds Rhinos 6. Just gives you the impression that a little bit of a different feel about the way the Rhinos are doing things so far tonight, Craig, although it is early doors.
Yeah, it is early doors, but you can see, I've done 2 of the last 3 Rhinos defeats. Obviously wasn't in Catalan, but did the St Helens game and the Castleford game last Thursday, and they're just a little bit flat. You can't say that there, and as we say, that massive mistake from Ryan Hall, normally so good under them, just loses the ball into touch, and Huddersfield have a fantastic opportunity to hit right back.
The old commentator's curse. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, just looking at the replay, took his eye off it. The Matty Bowen try was shown on the big screen, and it was a pretty good one as well.
Maybe watching that.
Not sure that Darryl Powell have been entirely impressed with his Tigers defenders. So 8-0 and probably in a kickable position, that conversion. Here's Danny Brough, meanwhile, gets it away to Brett Ferris as Huddersfield have restarted from the scrum. Ferris tackled within 10 of the Leeds line. Luke Robinson looks to show and then make a cheeky dummy and duck under the tackler Brad Singleton, but can't get through. Plays it now to the ball's come loose from Danny Brough. It's out in the hands of Cudjoe, gets it away to McGilvray in the right hand corner, and Jermaine McGilvray has buried his way across the line in the corner. Ryan Hall, the man whose mistake brought about that passage of play, couldn't get to him. Robert Hicks has gone to the video referee, so it's not done and dusted, this.
I think it's a knock on.
Just trying to check his referral, couldn't see his signal because it was obscured by 1 or 2 of the Leeds players out there.
It's gone for no, and it looks like is that a knock on from Kopchak? It's gone through his hands. For me, that's a knock on. Now, for me, he's tried to catch the ball, he's moving forward, it's hit his fingers. I think they'll say it's gone backward and they'll give a try, but for my money, that's a knock on.
Yeah, it's a big call, this, because Huddersfield getting back into it straight after Leeds had scored.
You look at that there and you say, how is that a knock on? Because he's ran past the ball, in my opinion. It's hit his fingers. For me, that's got to have gone forward. If it hits his hands, it has to have gone forward. And for me, it's a knock on. If they carry on and go look at the grounding, which it looks like they're going to do. There's no knock on there. Hughes picks it up. They're going to give it a try.
So McGilvray's got in at the corner. We've seen that far on the replay. As Craig suggests, when this happens, it is normally awarded as a try. Let's get the verdict from the video men. Waiting now for that big screen to show it at the John Smith Stadium, and a try has been awarded. So big error from Ryan Hall that set things up there, and he himself wasn't able to atone by stopping McGilvray getting in at the corner. Jermaine McGilvray out clear at the head of the try scoring charts for 2015, and what a finisher. And it's now Huddersfield Giants 4, Leeds Rhinos 6.
Yeah, great finish from McGilvray. Take nothing away from him, but if that happens, and that'll happen again in this game today, Jonathan, where somebody will do the exact same thing in midfield and it'll be blown up as a knock-on, but the referee's got that ability to let play go on. If there's a try, he can go to the big screen and he's free from blame then. For me, that's a knock-on. They're the breaks. You know, you take them, you get them sometimes, then you don't. Huddersfield right back in the game.
Yeah, 27 tries now for Jermaine McGilvray in League and Super 8s games. It's not including the Challenge Cup. And a super conversion from Danny Brough out on the far side of the field means that it is parity restored at the John Smiths. 13 minutes in, and it's Huddersfield 6, Leeds 6.
Yeah, great start to the game, and you know, big mistake from Ryan Hall, and you know, Huddersfield have done what all good teams do when they get that opportunity to score points. They managed to do it. Great kick-off again from Hardacre. This time Griggs manages to take it on the full.
So Huddersfield then, a restart from deep inside their own half. And it's Akumatai. Ball now with Jack Hughes. Cracking atmosphere at this particular ground this evening, as these two West Yorkshire sides do battle then. Craig Hubie spinning back towards the Leeds line and driving Jamie Peacock backwards. Peacock out there on the field. Kickers come in now, and it's turned both Zach Hardacre and Ryan Hall. It will be the Leeds full-back who picks it up and hands it to Hall. Both sporting those orange boots, and Ryan Hall tries to get out of his own 20 and just about does, despite the attentions of a couple of Giants defenders. He's going to play it now to Kevin Sinfield, who's going to come short side, this near right hand side for Leeds, and give it to Callum Watkins. Watkins held up by Brough and Kopchak. Now Stevie Ward tries to put a bit of footwork on and get through that first line of defence, but doesn't have the beating of Brett Ferris on this occasion. Peacock turns and offloads to Sinfield. Now it's with Carl Ablett, and the Rhinos have made it just to the halfway line as we get towards the back half of this set of 6. Burrow goes left on to Cuthbertson. Longer ball from him to Ryan Hall, who comes back in field, gives it to Peacock, bounces off his chest onto Maguire, and he finds Stevie Ward. Leeds gradually making ground. No sign of a clean break at the moment as Sinfield puts up a high kick. Griggs underneath it, as is Tom Briscoe waiting for him, and Callum Watkins, and they make sure that he knows he's in the game as he takes that ball. Yeah, good play by Griggs though. Never looked like dropping the ball. He's got an interesting catching style, hasn't he? And he always makes me feel a little bit shaky, but he's really good at it. Took a great ball as Jamie Ellis makes a half break almost up the middle of the field. So here's Jermaine McGilvray off that far right touchline, coming in field, scorer of that first Giants try. Now the big fella Akumatai striding purposefully down centre field, tackled by Stevie Ward just inside the Leeds half. Last tackle of the set. Bruff's kick ricochets back off a Rhino and into the arms of Brad Singleton, and it's one of those very unfortunate moments where he just reacts and picks the ball up from an offside position, and the penalty is going to go the way of the home side, and this is kickable for Danny Brough.
I'd take the two, and again, I'm a dinosaur. For me, the points are on offer. It's a semi-final type of game, this, and when the points are on offer, you take them. And for me, you know, I'm sure this game's going to be really, really tight. They may score and say, what do I know? But for me, I'd have taken the two there.
Easy for you to say, Cost, playing alongside the likes of Andy Farrell and probably Frano Botica, I'm guessing, in your day. You know, take the two from anywhere. Yeah, from your own goal line.
Bot's never missed ever. Very, very rarely.
What a kicker! What a kicker! Here's Danny Brough, another pretty good one as well for the Huddersfield Giants, and he's tackled on the 10. Luke Robinson, and the ball now. With Hubie, tried a risky offload. He's got away with it because Brett Ferris has scrambled back for the loose ball and picked it up. They lost a few yards as a result. Now Kopchak, and Kopchak is stopped by Singleton, and Callum Watkins. Now it's with Brough, who's looking to show to his left-hand side. He's closing in on the line though, only about 3 metres out, and they've used up 5 in this set. Plays it now, following the tackle to Robinson. Poor pass though from Luke Robinson, touched along the deck by Akumatai, tackled by Ablett. The ball's come loose from Akumatai's offload. Now Griggs has spilled it. The pressure's on Huddersfield as Leeds swarm forward, and from one Huddersfield Giants tackle, they've gone backwards there, Craig, about 35 metres.
Yeah, and then 2 points don't look too bad now, do they? But yeah, poor last tackle play, and a couple of Huddersfield passes have just been a little bit short of where they need to be, and you don't get second opportunities in semi-finals, and I keep saying that semi-final mentality, and that's how it's got to be, because this is really is as big as a semi-final, this game tonight, because I think home advantage is massive, and more so for the Giants than it is for Leeds.
The beautiful full clear moon right up ahead over the top of the John Smith Stadium, which is of course bathed in floodlights at the moment, and Leeds Rhinos 6 apiece with the Huddersfield Giants have the ball through Callum Watkins. We're just over 17 minutes into this one. Rob Burrow for Leeds, short ball back on the inside from Sinfield to Hardacre, but spilled by Kylie Luluai. Danny Maguire is absolutely livid in the background there.
Yeah, that's Danny's job. He wanted that ball, he didn't get it, he was screaming for it, and Luluai comes up with a big error, and both sides are a little bit cagey, aren't they, making errors, that uncharacteristically making errors, and I think neither side has truly settled yet. We're 20 minutes in, and they're still a little bit shaky and still aren't at the mentality that they need to be to win this game. They
haven't, but for fans of either side listening in, I think it's fair to say that both are probably better than they were last week.
Oh, without a doubt. Huddersfield were awful last week, and it showed the mark of the team that they were able to somehow get a victory. But Leeds weren't too bad attacking. Defence was pretty poor, but the both sides are a lot better. And as I said, in semi-final rugby, you need to be at your best, and that's where these two teams are aiming to be. Man down in back play for Leeds. Is it Ablett?
It is Carl Ablett, yes. Jamie Ellis meanwhile for Huddersfield, but Danny Brough is tackled inside his own half, about 10 metres inside the Huddersfield half. Luke Robinson will come this short side there left and give the ball to Ferris, and that's a good run from Brett Ferris, makes about 15 metres, carrying Leeds defenders with him, and he's held up just inside the Leeds half now. Last tackle of the set. Brough thinks about the kick and then looks to hand it on to his right, where Ellis finds Hughes. Jack Hughes' kick comes in. This time Ryan Hall's a little bit more safe with ball in hand, and then throws a bit of a wild pass to Tom Briscoe.
Yeah, I'm sure McDermott had his head in his hands there as he watched Ryan Hall throw a 30-metre speculator right across the top of Hardacre to Tom Briscoe. But yeah, he's got away with it. But yeah, just a little bit shaky, as I said, and little panic plays both sides. Again, last tackle from Huddersfield, Brough and Ellis getting it through hands to Jack Hughes, who realises, thankfully for the Giants, it's last, and gets some sort of kick away. But yeah, neither side just 100% settled at the moment.
I guess we've seen some of Ryan Hall's handling tonight. That's maybe why Leeds have never really fancied moving him to fullback, perhaps, as has been suggested in some quarters over the years. Here is Danny Maguire with a kick for Leeds then. It's attempting at splitting Griggs and Murphy, but Aaron Murphy beautifully positioned, and Danny Brough got up there to make the tackle along with Stevie Ward. Decent chase from Leeds.
Yeah, it was a good tackle as well from Danny Maguire. Stevie Ward round the ankles, and Danny Maguire belted him to the top half of his body, putting his body on the line. Danny Maguire, good play from Brett Ferris, and really, really good defence as well from Callum Watkins, and it needed to be.
Love watching Danny Maguire play. What a supreme competitor he is. He was urging the players on again then after he'd made that tackle and barking some instructions to them. Doesn't know when he's beaten. Was absolutely spitting feathers last week after that defeat. Really, really down about it and the team's performance. Huddersfield meanwhile have possession here. Danny Brough, another player great to watch in a similar position, hangs up a kick here which Hardacre positions himself well underneath, takes the ball beautifully under pressure, but that's a superb kick from Danny Brough which allowed the Huddersfield chasers bags of time to get there and put Zach Hardacre down over his own line for a second Leeds dropout.
Yeah, and the old story, isn't it? Your kick's only as good as your chase, and it was. The kick came down right on the line, exactly where you want it to come down as a kicker. But what Leroy Kudju did there, he got there too early, but he was smart enough to realise he had to hit the brakes and stop, let Zach Hardacre catch the ball, and as soon as he caught him and landed on the floor, he belted him, put him back over the in goal. So great kick, but even better chase by Cudjoe.
Just beyond the halfway point of the first half here at the John Smiths. You're listening to full, live, uninterrupted commentary on Radio Yorkshire with Craig Murdoch, formerly of course of Wigan and Hull FC, and myself, Jonathan Doidge, and it's Huddersfield Giants 6, Leeds Rhinos 6. We know that the last we heard over at the DW in the other vital game tonight, it was Wigan Warriors 8, Castleford Tigers 0. Craig Hubie has the ball here for Huddersfield, closing in on the Rhinos line. He's tackled about 10 metres short and will play it now to Luke Robinson. He's going to turn it away to his right, where he finds Michael Lawrence. Lawrence tackled by Ablett. Now Robinson to Brough. Short ball from Brough was intended for Brett Ferris, who looked like he was going to run through a hole, but it's come unstuck back in the arms of Scott Griggs. And it looks like a knock-on against Brett Ferris here. Just looking at the replay, yeah, it's bounced off his chest, hasn't it? Then ricocheted back off a Leeds defender. Yeah,
I think the pass, Danny was looking at the man outside him and he fired it with some pace to get, a 10-15 metre pass, but Ferris had just maybe slightly overrun it, probably. That's what you miss when you're not playing on a weekly basis. Just that little 1%, little bit of timing of your run, and he just mistimed his run slightly. As I said, I think he was a decoy, but he did run into a big hole. The ball hit his chest and bounced forward, and Rhinos get the scrum. But if you're going to make an error, a good a place as any 5 metres away from your opponent's line.
Yeah, I had Brett Ferris, of course, sitting alongside me in the commentary position that you are in right now when the Giants played Warrington a couple of weeks ago, and he was just itching, you could tell, to get out there and play. It was just movements that he was making in the seat while things were going on out on the field. It was it was an education.
I've been retired 15 years and would love to be out there playing.
He's still pretty agile in that seat, though. I remember that burst of pace that you used to have.
Well, I don't.
Mine's a pint then. Here is Rob Burrow for Leeds. Gets it away to Jamie Peacock. Another player, of course, as we've been saying throughout the campaign, closing in on the end of what has been a fantastic career. Here's another in Sinfield. Now it's Maguire, gets it away to Hardacre for Leeds, coming into the line. They've taken play across to the left hand side. Hardacre was going down with the ball but flicked it out the back door to Ablett, and he's stolen about another 10 metres there for Leeds. Valuable metres just inside the Huddersfield half. They're on the last tackle now. Maguire to Sinfield, who's going to try and kick this one deep beyond Aaron Murphy. It's going to come down just short of the Huddersfield line. It's a decent kick, not as good as that one of Danny Brough perhaps at the other end, but Leeds have stopped Murphy inside his own 20. Not bad.
Yeah, it's that arm wrestle, isn't it, trying to get some possession, force the opposition into making an error, and again from your own 20 to the other 20, got to settle for it. Good set from the Rhinos.
Giants have it 6 apiece at the John Smiths. Leroy Cudjoe in possession for the home side then. Just a little bit of a lull in the atmosphere as we wait for the next thing to happen in the game. Ellis gets the ball away to Akuma Tai. He's going to play it now to Robinson following the tackle of Stevie Ward. Now Craig Hubie comes down centre field looking for work. The bearded Craig Hubie, formerly of Castleford. We're hoping perhaps that they do his team a favour over at the DW as well. Danny Brough's kick is straight down the throat of Ryan Hall this time, but it's a decent line formed in the chase by Huddersfield, and no way through for the in inverted commas world's best winger.
I think there's a few can put their hand up for that accolade, can't they? And there's some good ones on display in tonight's game. 4 of the best in Super League anyway on show. Now it looks like an injury, and when players from the opposition wave, something's seriously wrong, and not sure who it is who's took that ball in, but it's certainly got a whack.
It's Tom Briscoe
to the chops. Is it Briscoe?
Yeah, I think he was the last person that my memory tells me had possession before.
Yeah, I think it is. It's certainly not stood up there, so that's law of average.
Yeah, it is Tom Briscoe, just receiving some treatment from the medical staff on the field, so a slight break in play. 15.5 minutes to go before half time. Huddersfield Giants 6. A try from them for Jermaine McGilvray in response to an earlier one by Stevie Ward for the Rhinos. They were in front 6-0 with Sinfield's goal, but a spill by Ryan Hall out on the far touchline allowed Huddersfield possession at the scrum, and they made the most of it with a try that was referred as a no try by referee Robert Hicks, but was overturned by the video referees because they couldn't clearly see a knock-on by Craig Kopchak in the build-up, and McGillvray got into the corner to beat Ryan Hall. Danny Brough kicked a good conversion, 6 apiece. Wigan in front against Castleford. So, looks like another try as well, seeing the big screen over on the far corner. Let's see what happens here. It's difficult to pick out the numbers precisely in the Wigan ranks, but we've just seen a try scored in the right-hand corner, and we're also seeing a replay of
it's maybe the replay of the 2 tries, I think, Jonathan.
So it is still 8-0. The boys are saying it is the replay of the tries that have already been scored, and 10-0 in fact. So that's a second conversion to Matty Bowen's try, which we are seeing again, was kicked. So as it stands at the moment, if it stayed like this, Leeds will move on to 40 points, Huddersfield will move on to 39, and Wigan would be the league leading Shield winners with 41 if this stayed as a draw. Just to confuse you a bit more and throw another spanner in the works. Here's Kevin Sinfield's kick for Leeds. Scott Griggs is across there to field it, about a metre short of his own goal line. Good chase from the Rhinos. In the end, he's stopped about 10 metres from his own line, so Leeds defending deep here in the Huddersfield half of the field. Yeah,
great play all round there. It was a really good set play from Leeds. Kick was perfect, turned around Griggs, and then Griggs did well to make 10 metres on the back of that. Some decent defence, so yeah, everybody's happy with that play there, I think.
Giants have it. Leeds holding them at the moment just outside their own 20. It's going to take a good kick from one of their good kickers to get them down the other end of the field, you feel, at this stage, unless somebody can come up with a clean break. And they've been at a premium tonight. Craig Newby has juggled with the ball in midfield here. Wow, he did really well in the end to keep hold of that, because he was clattered by both Peacock and Kylie Luluai, and he's probably feeling that one a little bit now, but he's spared his team's blushes there, and they've got the kick away, and Briscoe has taken it deep inside his own half. You're even puffing your own cheeks out there, Craig.
Yeah, you said about getting back and playing. I'm quite happy to sat here when you watch that, don't you? Because Hooby just got absolutely belted. Put everything on the line there, Hooby did, because he knew he was going to get smashed, because he made the error of knocking the ball up in the air, but he had no other thoughts than, his body safety, everything went out the window. All he knew was that he had to get that ball, and he did it, but he got absolutely creamed by, Leeds' 2 big men in Peacock and Luluai.
Yeah, fantastic commitment from Hubie. Here is Rob Burrow for the Rhinos, out on the far side of the field. A jinking, weaving run, couldn't get through though. Maguire now to Sinfield. Here's Callum Watkins, speculative offload out the back door, ends up in the arms of Stevie Ward, and he's tackled down this Leeds right hand side by 3 Giants. Robert Hicks holds up the 5 fingers. Last tackle, Briscoe's going to come short side to Watkins, who then finds Zach Hardacre chiming in. Hardacre just puts a little dink over the top and has held Scott Griggs just short of his own line. Different on the last tackle.
Yeah, different, but again, good play. It's not all about scoring tries, it's about stopping the other team scoring them, and Huddersfield did really well there, but Leeds are on top at the moment. They're just turning that screw. 13 minutes to go to before half time, and they're just trying to force an error here from Huddersfield's set.
Yeah, we've not had a thriller in terms of tries, but you can tell that there is a trophy up for grabs at the end of this evening with the way these 2 sides have approached this game. It means just that little bit more than what we see on a week-to-week basis. Danny Brough gets the kick away, and Tom Briscoe is going to have to take this one inside his own in-goal area. The Giants' chase is pretty solid, and unless he can make a clean break, which he can, he's going to be stopped on his own 20 there.
Yeah, he looks a bit frail as well, Tom Briscoe, still, didn't he? He wasn't, certainly 100% running back for that kick, and certainly running it in, and now he's hands on his knees. Yeah, certainly struggling a little bit, and did really brave there to bring that ball back. But we said Huddersfield, or I said Huddersfield, we're going to need a really good kick to get away from their own line, and they managed to do so.
Looks like Cass might have hit back, over at the DW Stadium. And Luke Dawn looks like he's scored a try. We'll get confirmation of that. Meanwhile, Dawn is confirmed as a try scorer, so 10-4 with a wideish conversion to come. Back here at the John Smith's. Danny Maguire puts up a high hanging kick. Underneath it is Scott Griggs. He's spilled it under some pressure. The ball's come loose. What is Robert Hicks going to give this time? Adam Cuthbertson's on the floor. Yeah, Tom Briscoe still feeling the effects of what happened in the other half at the moment, down on his haunches. We're waiting for a decision here. Hicks is going to go see his near side touch judge.
has to be a knock-on. There can't be anything other than a knock-on. It's a 50-50 ball. Ablett's just jumped miles away from it. It has to be a Leeds head and feed. They've got it right. Right call.
So the Rhinos are going to get the feed at this scrum as they start to crank things up here. 11 minutes before half-time. And if there's one thing you can say about Huddersfield in recent weeks, they've hit form at a great time of the season. But if there's another thing you can say about the Giants, they haven't yet got into the habit of winning the big games like this. This is a real test for them now. Here's Danny Maguire to Cuthbertson. Maguire on the run around, finds Callum Watkins, who's gone out onto the left hand side sniffing for the ball. Good tackle though to stop him by Jack Murphy. Now Cuthbertson pings one or two men off him. One of them was Luke Robinson, throws a speculator out the back door. Peacock's got back to wrap it up for Leeds, but they've lost about 5 metres in the process. Here's Luluai trying to hammer a hole down the middle. Good defence from Brett Ferris for the Giants. Great commitment from these two sides. Burrow now to Maguire, gets it away to Cuthbertson, who's tried another offload, but it's one too many. Come up in the arms of Scott Griggs, and the Giants weathered that storm well.
Yeah, they did. You know, they needed to come up with some big defence, and they need a player now, you know, to get outside their own 20. But Huddersfield are hanging on. But again, you know, this is, you know, full credit to them. They're digging deep, and they're finding some energy to make those tackles when they really, really need to them. It's a really great game. The scoreboard's 6-all. You know, people say, oh, there's not a great deal of tries. How can it be a great game? This game's got everything at the minute, hasn't it? It's physical, it's strong, no quarter asked, none given, and we've no idea where the next points are coming from, Jonathan.
Long kick downfield from Danny Brough, splits Hardacre and Hall. Hall gets back to field it and gives it to Hardacre for some reason when only 2 or 3 metres short of the advancing Huddersfield line. Precarious. Good job, Zach Hardacre's hands are safe. He's tackled and plays it back to Ryan Hall now.
Aaron Murphy limping really badly as well, getting back onto the wing. You know, there's lots and lots of players carrying injuries at the moment.
And we're hearing that there's been cries of ooh around the DW Stadium now that the score from the John Smiths 6 apiece has come on over there, because of course, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, if it stayed this way here and it stayed that way there, then it would be the Warriors who would win the league leaders' shield. So one of these sides.
There's plenty of twists yet, Jonathan. We've got 40 minutes and this is going to twist and turn a few more times yet. The trophy will be back and forth across the M62 yet, I believe.
Here's Callum Watkins stepping on the gas and trying to get through. Flicks the ball out to Tom Briscoe, who just seems to be a little bit behind the pace after that knock he took a few minutes ago. He seems to be still suffering. It was a little slower than you'd normally expect him to be to get back and pick it up. He got there in the end. And play continues with Leeds in possession. Maguire out on the far side to Cuthbertson, who's offloaded this time to Rob Burrow. And Burrow tries to get through, but can't get past the big fella Craig Kopchak. Sinfield. Now it's with Hardacre. Hardacre to Watkins coming into the line, getting more and more involved. Here, the England centre Callum Watkins tackled and plays it to Hardacre. Sinfield now looks to his left, back to his right to Burrow. Burrow tries to get through, and it was met high enough by Joe Wardle, but high is pretty low for most people on Rob Burrow. Now Jamie Peacock, 4 or 5 metres from the line. Sinfield. Maguire puts the grub kick in for Ablett to chase. Well watched and well wrapped up by Jermaine McGilvery, despite some pretty heavy Rhinos pressure there. And they've again seen out another Leeds onslaught.
Yeah, great game of rugby league we've got here, and great play from McGilvery. Not only did he take the ball on his bootlaces, but with 3 Leeds Rhinos running forward to smash him back over the goal line to get the dropout, he had the strength to get back into the field of play. And, you know, it might sound a stupid comment, but that's almost as good as a try. Another set of 6 there on Huddersfield's line, and that had done really well to keep the Rhinos out. But instead of that, they've got the ball, and you know, it's a funny way this game of turning around pretty quickly, and wouldn't be surprised if Huddersfield came up with a play, you know, in the next couple of minutes to get themselves back in front.
Wigan 10, Castleford 6 is the latest then from the DW. So the Tigers have managed to convert there and get themselves firmly back into that one. It's going to run for a while, as Craig says, is this. Leeds have it at the moment, and they have it through Zach Hardacre. Hardacre tackled about 5 or 6 inside the Leeds half. There have been very few penalties this evening. 1 for offside, 1 for an accidental offside, and the first proper penalty, I suppose, of the night.
I was just thinking the very same thing. I was thinking probably the best I've seen Robert Hicks referee a game. You know, he's let things go, he's given the decisions he's needed to give, and he's done really well. And you know, to be fair, that was a penalty, he had to give it.
And he went the way of Leeds, who have the ball back then with Brett Delaney, and Delaney tackled by Lawrence inside the Huddersfield 20. Jamie Peacock, how he'd love to get across the line tonight, but he'd love even more if Leeds were to get the 2 points. Plays it now to Rob Burrow. Now it's with Danny Maguire. Maguire steps off his left and tries to go back towards the post. The door's closed by Kopchak. Here's Cuthbertson taking a short ball from Burrow. He's looking for that offload as ever, but it's well clamped by some excellent collective Giants defence out on their right hand side. Leeds are going to go back to their right now with Maguire to Sinfield. Sinfield looks to show and go. I think it was more about a mistime run than anything. I think he was looking ready to get the ball away. Last tackle of the set. Maguire's going to hang up a kick out in the left hand corner, where underneath it is Ryan Hall, who takes it cleanly. He's immediately held by two Giants defenders. He got the ball away, but it's going to be a handover to Huddersfield. And you've got to say, fantastic credit must go to Paul Anderson's team and their defensive effort here under some extreme Rhinos pressure.
Yeah, this is a massive 5 minutes, because you look at Huddersfield now, they've got 5 and 6 players who are just hands on hips, really struggling. They've done lots and lots of defence. They need to hang into half time because Leeds are turning that screw, but so far, you know, Huddersfield have had every answer to the questions Leeds have asked at them. So, you know, it's a really big game and the next points are vital.
It's live and uninterrupted here on Radio Yorkshire with Craig Murdoch and myself, Jonathan Doidge. Don't go away, because there is so much to play for both here and also with news for you from the DW in the other game of the night between Wigan and Castleford. Now then, Leeds going to get a penalty here for obstruction. There's just a little bit of a miscommunication in the Huddersfield ranks, and one or two people pretty much gave themselves up there.
Yeah, Jack Hughes is one. Gave himself up, and the referee had a look, and Kevin Sinfield's taking the 2, and I think that's a great call and boost from the Huddersfield fans. But as I said, it's semi-final football. When the points are on offer, have a shot at him, because there's not. We've seen that Huddersfield defence has been fantastic, and have Cass got over again?
Looks like Castleford. We're seeing a replay of a build-up to something for Cass here. Have they gone in for a second? They have gone in for a second try, so that will level it at least, and a conversion to come. Things are changing again here. Junior Moores it was who's got across for Cass, so 10 apiece at the DW. Converted as well. Wigan 10, Castleford 12 then from the DW Stadium. It changes again, and this kick now takes on just a little bit more as far as Leeds are concerned.
Do you think anything in Darrell's team talk said, look, we want a Yorkshire side to win it, not a Lancastrian one?
I spoke to Darrell after the game last week, and he did say, one of the first things he said was, we'd like to go to Wigan next week and do Leeds a favour now we've beaten them tonight. Fair play to him for giving it a go. Here's Kevin Sinfield from 40 metres out. The roars from the Rhinos fans are way behind the goals at the Chadwick Lawrence end are a great indicator that straight between the H's, and Leeds 3 minutes before the break now lead by 8 points to 6.
Yeah, great kick from Sinfield, and again, you know, probably old-fashioned philosophy, you know, taking the 2 points, but it's a tight game. They've been down there, you know, big chunks of this game and haven't managed to get over the line, so, you know, why not take the 2 and edge themselves in front as we approach half-time.
So the Giants' restart is deep. Ryan Hall's had plenty of work to do in terms of sweeping up and taking those kicks tonight, and that tells you about the Huddersfield style of play, of course, more so than some other clubs. Here is Jamie Peacock for Leeds, inside their own 20 at the moment, just nudging ahead then, and they'll go in at half time and might hear that Cass have nudged themselves in front over at Wigan. Here's Cuthbertson now to Maguire. Danny Maguire tries to find a lazy defender to run past, Joe Wardle and Danny Brough. No laziness shown from either of them to stop him. Now it's Brett Delaney, and put down on the halfway line. Last tackle of the set. They come in this near side, the right, where Burrow finds Sinfield, who drills a kick into the ground and bounces up kindly enough, but a well positioned Scott Griggs, and he brings it back to about 15 from his own line before Watkins gets there to make the tackle.
think the Giants would take half time now. A minute and a half to go, 2 points behind on the scoreboard. I think they'd quite happily go in. There's a couple of players hands on knees. Leeds dominating field position and yardage easily. I think they'd take half time.
Yeah, Leeds certainly dominating field position and yardage, and the Giants would love to see the tackle that counts for the respective sides, because they seem to have done a lot of defending. They've done it very well, but how much juice is that going to take out of them come the final quarter here?
Big mistake from Jack Hughes as well there. Is it Jack Hughes or maybe Cudjoe, not so sure, but anyhow they've come up with an error at the play of the ball. There was certainly a hand in, could have gone either way, but the referees decided it was a knock on.
So Giants 6, Rhinos 8, less than a minute to go. The clock's been stopped on 58 seconds. Danny Maguire's about to feed this scrum for Leeds, just inside the Huddersfield half. Over on the Rhinos left hand side, Sinfield now to Moon. Zach Hardaker even is coming in from fullback. Ryan Hardaker, not sure where I got that one from. Tackled there by Danny Brough and Aaron Murphy. Now it's Tom Briscoe, looks to hit and spin and try and steal a few more metres, and is successful in doing so, and leads 30 metres out as Burrow feeds Sinfield, now with Danny Maguire coming into the line. Kylie Luluai, slightly surprisingly, is to his left, and he takes the tackle there of Hughes, and Leeds have it now with Cuthbertson. That was a fairly high looking shot around the throat of Adam Cuthbertson by Luke Robinson, but Leeds continue, and they have it with Peacock, and they're edging closer and closer to the line. This would really be a killer for Huddersfield if Leeds got a try here in the final few seconds before the break after all of that defending. Burrow to Sinfield, back on the inside is Maguire. Oh, superb defence from the Huddersfield Giants, who read that one beautifully and closed the door right underneath the post. There is the half-time hooter. Huddersfield Giants 6, Leeds Rhinos 8. A try for Stevie Ward for Leeds, one in response for Jermaine McGilvray for the home side. Both of those goals by the respective kickers, Sinfield and Brough, and a penalty 3 minutes before the break for Kevin Sinfield, and Leeds gives them the edge as they leave the field in sprightly fashion before half-time. They're jogging off. The Giants, well, they're starting to do so now, having walked the first few strides. And you've got to say, real tight, cracking first half of rugby league football, Craig, being played mainly in the Giants half of the field, but they are still very much in this game.
Yeah, without a doubt. There's two ways to look at this, and it'd be interesting to take, to be a fly on the wall of both camps, because I think both sides can get massive positives from that first half. I'm sure Paul Anderson's team talk will be, they've thrown everything at you fellas, you've had no ball, you've had no field position, and you're 2 points behind, and they're going for goals, from 30 metres. That shows they can't get across your goal tonight. And then Leeds, Brian McDermott flips it over and says, look fellas, we've been great in that first half, we do exactly the same in the second half, we get the win. So both sides certainly still in the hunt, both sides still think they can get the victory, and both you and I, Jonathan, have still no idea where the trophy's going to go at the end of the night.
No, we are absolutely clueless, but we're enjoying being clueless because it just makes it that bit more exciting.
Well, there's no different, is it? We're clueless every week, so that's the way it is.
So Cass leading at half time, I would think now, over at the DW. Wigan 10, Castleford 12 was the latest. And how many minutes to play, sorry, Tom? 2 minutes still to play before half time. That's interesting over there, so they must have had one or two stoppages. So Cass in front, it was a late kick-off, I'm told. Castleford in front, 12-10. Anyway, that's the important info going into half-time there. It is half-time here. Huddersfield 6, Leeds Rhinos 12.
Radio Yorkshire, your home of rugby league on DAB, online and via the TuneIn app.
Welcome back live then from the John Smith Stadium, where at half-time here it is Huddersfield Giants 6, Leeds Rhinos 8. Meanwhile, at the DW Stadium, where Wigan Warriors could steal fiendishly this league leaders shield from these two Yorkshire clubs if results go their way. Well, they're not at the moment, because it's Wigan Warriors 10, Castleford Tigers 12, so all sorts of things could change in the next 40 minutes, and we will try mathematically be across that. It is a long time since I did any constructive mathematics.
I was going to say, Jonathan, it's still technically, I suppose, still the dying embers of summer, but I think it's a bit cold to get our shoes and socks off, because we might need our fingers and our toes if me and you were going to do the maths to get the league leaders shield somewhere tonight.
6 points to Huddersfield, 8 points to the Rhinos here. The players are back out on the field. Leeds trying to win what will be only their second League Leaders Shield. They won it last in 2009, and Huddersfield, of course, were the winners of this 2 years ago. So both clubs trying to win this particular trophy for a second time. Here is Rob Burrow to Adam Cuthbertson. Cuthbertson then in the blue and amber of Leeds, who are playing right to left in this second half. That's defending the Chadwick Lawrence end of the ground, if you know it, here at Huddersfield. And now it's with Jamie Peacock. Peacock plays it following the tackle to Burrow, who gives it to Delaney to his right. Leeds 10 metres inside their own half as the Rhinos fans start to sing Marching All Together. Clearly hopeful that their team are going to stay in front, but a long way to go. And it's on the last tackle of this opening set of the second half, and Sinfield kicks the ball deep. Grix takes it half towards his own try line and very deep. It's a good Leeds chase, and that was a pretty promising first set.
Yeah, you know, Leeds have kicked well and intelligently today, and Sinfield just trying to get that one as far downfield as he could, and you know, back his defence to stop Huddersfield making some metres, and they've done that pretty much in the first half, and nothing changes for Leeds. I think nothing changes. I'm sure that was Brian McDermott's words at half time. Look, win the second half by 2 points, you finish top of the league, and it's simple as that.
So Huddersfield have the ball back, and they're just inside the Leeds half. A minute and a half into this second half, trailing by the 2 points. Danny Brough hits the gas and tries to get through. The ball's come loose though, gone to ground. Callum Watkins is involved in the tackle. It's a knock on. Which way is it going to go?
No, the head and feeds Giants, it has to be, otherwise it'd have been play on. The Brough did excellently well there. They thought about the kick and he realised he had 5 on 3, and he tried to make the numbers. Watkins did well to knock the ball down, because it would have been 4 on 2 on that far side if he hadn't have done that, and he's getting pats on the back. He's giving away another set of 6 tackles, but it's better than giving away the 6 points.
Yeah, Leeds allowed to regroup defensively then, and Huddersfield then just outside the Leeds 20 with the scrum. Jamie Ellis just about gets through a tackle involving Ablett and Cuthbertson, who eventually brings him to the ground. Michael Lawrence now for Huddersfield, looking for a second try in the game. 10-12 metres out, will play the ball to Robinson following the tackle, who's going to scurry away to the left. Gets it away out that left hand side. I think it was Brett Ferris who came charging onto it towards the posts. Takes the tackle. It wasn't Brett Ferris in fact, but the ball is back with Jamie Ellis at the moment. It was Daniel Smith, wasn't it, who came charging through, wearing 32. Now it's Robinson, back to Brough. A long looping pass from Danny Brough out on the left hand side to Leroy Cudjoe. And he's tackled there by Sinfield. The ball is with Brough, who just dinks it off the outside of the boot over the top of the Leeds defensive line. Maguire's round at the back to sweep up, and Leeds have survived following that handling error from Watkins.
Yeah, good defence by Leeds. Now they're under pressure, probably the first time in about 20 minutes maybe. The last 15-16 minutes of the first half, Leeds were dominant, and it was Huddersfield backs on their own line, and now in this second half, Huddersfield have got down here, got a repeat set, and Leeds are having to bring the ball off their own line.
Peacock in possession, and Leeds then inside their own 20. Much of the game in either half has been played down this end of the field. That's away to the right of our commentary position, and it's Danny Maguire trying to get through. Just shoves Jamie Ellis to the ground before Jack Hughes completes the tackle on the Rhinos scrum half. Here's their standoff. Kevin Sinfield with a long kick downfield then on the last tackle. Well watched, well fielded by Grix, who gives it to Murphy. Murphy met in the tackle this time by Moon, and Mitch Garbutt, who's out there to complete the job. 23 metres from their own line, Huddersfield. Jermaine McGilvray, 27 tries this season, takes a bit of work off the forwards. Tackled in midfield by Peacock. Joe Wardle, I think it was, on that next play. It certainly was. Tackled by Garbutt. Now Robinson to Kopchak. Pretty good though this set as far as making metres is concerned by Huddersfield. And the little dink over the top now comes from Luke Robinson. Turns Ryan Hall on this Leeds left wing. Oh, it's a poor pass from Hall. It's been dropped by Zach Hardaker, and Huddersfield, out of absolutely nothing, have come up with a try, and it looks as though it could have been scored by Luke Robinson. It was a shocker of a pass from Ryan Hall straight on the bootlaces of Zach Hardacre. Let's just look at the replay once again because the video screen has been called for.
Luke Robinson has just mouthed on big screen, "I scored."
Yep.
I scored was Luke Robinson's words, and he's a pretty honest guy. He's going to think he has. He hasn't though.
He hasn't. He nudged the ball through from the fingertips of Hardacre and dived on it. We were obscured from view in terms of where the ball was in relation to his body at the point that it was claimed as a try, but looking at the replays, Craig says clearly that is not a try and will not count. And
now this is my great gripe with the. We've watched that 3 times. Why? You could watch that once and say no try. There's no need to keep going back and going back and going back. That's not a try. Simple as move on. It was a great kick by Robinson. It was a great chase, and Ryan Hall, who's probably been the worst player on the pitch tonight, has came up with 3 or 4, really awful passes out of that backfield player. He's normally so strong at running the ball back, and tonight he's been poor. But Leeds have just got a huge slice of luck. Can Huddersfield count in, make the try count?
They have the ball, and they're away on their left-hand side. Then here is Robinson. Said early on in the piece, cheeky chappy, tried to old man everybody, but couldn't beat the eyes of the camera that apparently never lies. Here's Ellis. Now it's with Jack Hughes looking to offload. Leeds having lots of defending to do. Huddersfield at the moment, the team in the ascendancy on the field at least, if not the scoreboard. Lawrence straight and hard towards the Rhinos line, held up by Peacock about 5 metres out. Robinson then to Ellis. Now it's with Brough, who puts the boot to ball. It's intended out on the far side, I think, for Scott Griggs, who was coming in from full back. Possibly Joe Wardle, but Leeds got across and swept it up, importantly for them.
Yeah, Callum Watkins just stuck out of arm and somehow managed to drag the ball in and not knock it on. That's great play from Watkins. We talk about his attacking prowess, but that's again as good as a try, stopping them out. But this game has just flipped where Huddersfield are on top now. Can they score some points where Leeds couldn't when they were on top before?
Here's Watkins for Leeds, tries to get around Wardle, dragged towards the touchline on the far side though by Wardle, Aaron Murphy and several other giants. And after a great piece of play to get the ball back for Leeds, Callum Watkins has now been taken to touch far side, and they will have to defend again from this giant scrum feed.
Yeah, again, brilliant defence from Huddersfield. That's been the story of the game so far from them. The defence has been really on the money, whether it be on their own goal line or on Leeds' goal line. They've defended really strong, and they've come up with lots of answers to questions that Leeds have asked them. And now again they get the ball in really good field position, 35 metres away from the line, 6 tackles to come. They're going to finish at worst right on the goal line of Leeds with an attacking kick. But the question is, can Leeds' defence be as good as Huddersfield's?
It's a humdinger at the John Smiths then, live on Radio Yorkshire with Craig Murdoch and me, Jonathan Doidge. We're 7 minutes into the second half here. Huddersfield 6, Leeds Rhinos 8. Castleford were leading at half-time 12-10 at the home of Wigan, the DW Stadium. But back here...
Did they take the 2, Jonathan?
Yeah, Huddersfield have got a penalty. Only their second of the game.
And he's going for the goal and he's roundly applauded. And again, it's a tight game. Huddersfield don't do that. 27 rounds or whatever we've had so far, they would have tapped the ball, but gets them back level. It's a really tight affair. Paul Anderson, 2 fingers in the air, and he's not saying that what he wants them to do. He's saying go for goal, isn't he?
Yeah, it was Brett Delaney and Carl Ablett both involved in the tackle, please, and I think it was Ablett who was pinged for just hanging on too long and wanting to get a little bit too close to the Giants player, if you will. And so Danny Brough from about 25-26 metres out, straight in front, left-footed as ever, no problem from him. And the scores are dead level here. So if the scenario we have now, 8 minutes into the second half, remains, then Leeds Rhinos will win the League Leaders Shield. I'll reach for the newspaper again. Leeds Rhinos would win the League Leaders Shield by virtue of a point. If Wigan lost and Huddersfield won, then it depends how much Wigan lose by as to whether Huddersfield could make it into second on points difference, because the difference between those two sides is only 13 points before the game kicks off here.
Let's worry about the end at the end, Jonathan. I think it's going to twist and turn a lot more times, yeah. And, this game is certainly not. Great play from Huddersfield.
Oh, beautiful ball to Wardle, who's approaching Zach Hardaker with a man on the inside, and that's Griggs. He tries to dummy and go himself. The ball's come up in the arms of Aaron Murphy out there on the far side, and Huddersfield have been stopped by Leeds, and they've now been stopped by referee Robert Hicks, who says it was a knock-on.
So this is where I don't get this system, and this is my big gripe with it. The referee lets this go on, and he's hoping that there's a try. Then he can go to the big screen to make a decision for him. That's a knock-on every day of the week by Joe Wardle for me, but he lets that go on a good 10 seconds more to see if they get over the line so he can go back and redeem himself. For me, that's got to be stopped. Make that decision there. Then it doesn't even bring the video ref into it. And if he gets it wrong there, he gets it wrong. But hey-ho.
What was the ball that Joe Wardle should have played in that position?
None. He should have kept hold of the ball. Leeds did everything right. Hardaker backed off. The pass wasn't on the outside. The pass wasn't on the inside. You take the tackle, you get up as quick as you can, and you play the ball.
So, squandering possession.
And that's the crime, Jonathan, not missing the try.
Here's Ablett then, who put Leeds in that awkward position by giving Huddersfield a penalty. Has it back for Leeds then. Now it's with Peacock. Looks to his left to Garbutt, but then in the end straightens it up and takes the tackle. Leeds haven't made much in the way of metres. They've certainly not spent more than a few seconds in the Giants' half in possession in this second half. They're looking to do that now with Garbutt, who gets across that halfway line in taking a ball from Rob Burrow. Tackled by Hughes, but they've used 5 up in this set. Sinfield juggles with it and then throws an ordinary looking pass to Callum Watkins, who's put the kick in here. Underneath it is Griggs. It's all a bit of a rush job from Leeds. They might have got out of jail slightly there because the chase is good.
That was forward, wasn't it? From Sinfield. Huge slice of luck from Leeds there. That looked forward from me. Had a little juggle with it and then came up with what looked like a forward pass, but as I say, he got away with it. And Huddersfield are dominating this game at the start of the second half, whether it be in defence or attack, and for me points aren't too far away for the Giants.
Now here, Mike, here could be some Brett Ferris. But his offload on the far side has come up in the arms of Tom Briscoe. Ferris is livid with himself, and Leeds have it back, and this is their best opportunity of the second half really, in terms of where they pick the ball up at the start of a set. Just inside their own half. They've made it into the Giants' territory, but Huddersfield's enthusiasm in defence, well, it's there for all to see. Clattering into the Rhinos, who've got the ball, and they're not making many metres forward. It needs something special from somebody like the man with the ball at the moment, Adam Cuthbertson, to try and fashion a clean break, because they've been few and far between in the contest. Maguire with the ball back on the inside to Joel Moon. One-handed pass then to Hardaker. It might just be opening up a little for Leeds on the right-hand side. Hardaker's pass is flicked up in the air by Moon, who's now going backwards and further backwards to give the ball to Cuthbertson. They're starting to move forwards again now with Delaney off the cuff from Leeds, where they look dangerous very, very often. Last tackle, Burrow to Maguire. High kick here. Griggs underneath it, pressure on him from Peacock. The ball's bounced free. It's been picked up there by Danny Maguire, who touches down for what he thinks is a try, but referee Hicks was right on that, blew the whistle, and he's given the penalty for a shove against the Rhinos player, and it's gone to the Giants.
And we've just criticised the referees. It looks like there's another try at the Wigan game. Wigan have got a third try, I believe, but let's give him, the referee, some credit there, because he made the decision, and he could have gone to the big screen and we'd have looked at it for about 10 minutes before we made the decision, but he's got that exactly right. Peacock pushed Griggs. Griggs is stood there looking for the ball coming down. Jamie Peacock certainly interferes with him, and that's the right call, and Zach Hardaker didn't like it. He's had a word in the referee's ear. Can't do it. And as I said, the referee's had a fine game so far tonight. Quite impressed with his decision making 90% of the time. Got that one exactly right as well, and Wigan score through them on Friday, and they're back in front, and another twist and another turn and another swizzle round, and
Man Friday?
Yeah, Man Friday.
Robinson Crusoe round?
Yep.
Well, Craig Murdoch's somewhere off marooned on a desert island, I think. And meanwhile, back in Huddersfield, it's Giants 8, Rhinos 8. Wigan lead then, 14-12. Conversion possibly still to come. And if it stays as it is at both grounds at the moment, Wigan will now win the League Leaders' Shield. Converted, so 16-12 then, in favour of the Warriors. Hubie, meanwhile, here has the ball for Huddersfield, who have had the better of the first 12-13 minutes of this second half. Brough now to Grix. Leeds had plenty of the first half but didn't have too much to show for it other than a slender lead, and it's they who are now having to try and do what Huddersfield did, and that is defend well under sustained pressure. Craig Hubie tackled 10 metres from the posts. Last tackle of the set. Brough puts the kick through for Ferris. The ball's come loose though. It's picked up by Hardacre at the back. Knock on, and it's going to go the way of Huddersfield here.
Yeah, big decision. The kick comes, goes through. Is that any different to the disallowed try? I'm not so sure, but hey ho, he's made the call.
Where's the knock on anyway? The ball.
What he's saying was Sinfield's lost the ball, and if it hadn't hit a Huddersfield player, it would have gone forward. So I agree with that. I think it's the right call. Leeds fans don't like it. Right call. And Huddersfield again, another set of 6 tackles here.
So loads of pressure on Brian McDermott's men as a defensive unit. Hughes for Huddersfield. After the scrum restart, they've brought the ball away down this right hand side, and he's held up 10 metres short of the Leeds line. Plays it to Robinson, gives it to Ellis. Straightening up play now is Michael Lawrence. Lawrence tackled by Garbutt 9 metres out. Robinson goes left to Ellis. Here's Hubie. Hubie showing great strength because he's got 3 Rhinos around him, and he's still managing to move them back towards their own try line. And he's stopped himself about a metre short. We'll get back and play the ball to Robinson. They're going to go short side. Robinson just tries to show and go, but can't get through, loses his footing, to be fair to him. I'm not sure it was the right play, but it would have been if he'd have scored a try, I guess. Here's Danny Brough, left foot to the near side. Underneath it is McGilvray. Pats the ball back inside. Maguire gets hold of it for Leeds, as does then Ryan Hall, because it went loose. And he's knocked into touch on the near side. And it continues, this steady but incessant build-up of Huddersfield pressure. Can Leeds hold out?
Yeah, big test of Leeds defence now. This is the 3rd set back-to-back, and you know, we normally say penalty try, don't we? So that's 3 sets. This is the 3rd set that Leeds have had to defend against because Huddersfield have put really good players on the last tackle. Leeds haven't been able to come up with the answers. This is the one, this is the big set where Huddersfield will be really going all out to get some points on this one.
And Carl Ablett leaving the field for Leeds, which is unusual.
Yeah, very unusual.
Huddersfield have it from the scrum. Brough. And they're about 10 metres short of the line. Lawrence was tackled there. Robinson now to Brough. They're going left again. Ferris comes crashing through, beats one man. He's got Zach Hardacre clinging around him, and Hardacre's shorts have been pulled off his backside virtually there by Jamie Peacock to try and help him out. Brough. Well, it's not the best of passes from Danny Brough at a vital moment. Huddersfield retain it with Jack Hughes. Adam Cuthbertson's taken a knock. He's still trying to defend for Leeds. Meanwhile, Huddersfield have it with Grix taking the pass from Hughes. Comes in field, has the beating of Ward, but can't get past Adam Cuthbertson. 15 short of the Leeds line. Hubie looks to his left, then tries to straighten things up towards the line. Huddersfield desperate to find a way through. Leeds desperate to stop them. Last tackle of the set. Robinson to his left to Brough. Back on the inside is Ferris. Flicks a pass out of there to Akuma Tai. And the Rhinos fans away to the right are screaming and cheering as if they've scored a brilliant length of the field try. That is what it means to them in terms of their team's defensive effort.
Yeah, there's been some amazing defence on display from both sides tonight, and again Danny Brough at the heart of it from Huddersfield, firing the passes left and right, and the defence from Leeds was right on the money and needed to be, only millimetres away from the line. Great defence, great game of rugby league, and again 23 minutes left in this one. We've no idea where this one's going.
Leeds have it. Fantastic Super League action live on Radio Yorkshire this evening then. And meanwhile, over at the DW Stadium, Wigan 16, Castleford 12 was the last we heard. One of these sides will want to win this to make sure that they win the League Leaders Shield. And the Rhinos, of course, are the ones who can prevent Wigan from doing it at the moment, with them being in front over there. Danny Maguire, right-footed kick at the end of the lead set. It's turned Scott Griggs, who's Well, I was going to say it's about the best kick Leeds have put in all night. It probably is. Griggs had to field it in the end behind his own in-goal area, and he's stopped 3 metres back into the field of play.
Yeah, and the game ebbs and flows again, doesn't it? And now Huddersfield having to come off their own line. Griggs just a little bit out of position, and the ball bouncing. Big call, knock on under the Huddersfield post by McGilvery, and that's a huge swing in this one. McGilvery don't like the decision. Leeds fans cheer, but it's a knock on 5 metres away from his own line. Some more defending needed from the Giants.
Once again, I'd like to say a big thank you to
Yeah, was
Giants
it Akuma Tai or Michael Lawrence, wasn't sure who made the error, just looking at the replay.
I think it was McGilvery, wasn't it?
Was it Jermaine McGilvery? It was Jermaine McGilvery, you're right. Eagle-eyed Craig Murdoch. Leeds then, without doubt, their best chance of this second half. Callum Watkins in possession. 21.5 minutes or so to go. Burrow to Singleton, who's just put to the ground in the shadow of the left-hand upright. Burrow now to Sinfield, then to Maguire. Callum Watkins tries to step off the right foot, gives it back to Danny Maguire, and maybe opening up for them on the far side, but full credit to the Giants for getting across there in numbers and making the tackle. Hardacre gets the ball in field to Peacock. Now it's with Mitch Garbett. Garbett straight towards the post. Those socks roll down around his ankles as ever, and he's tackled by the right hand upright this time. Burrow to Peacock. Now it's with Sinfield. Flick pass out the back door to Stevie Ward, who steps off the left foot and goes back towards the post again. The Giants defending really well as a unit here, and Leeds not really had a sniff in this set, despite the fact they've been within 10 metres throughout. Sinfield now to Maguire. Here's Watkins. Watkins to Delaney on the last tackle, but Huddersfield get there in numbers, and they have seen out that set from Leeds, but will get the ball turned over just within 10 metres of their own line.
Yeah, great defence from Huddersfield. Danny Brough and Brett Ferris were outnumbered 4-3, but Brough just made a gamble and just drifted off his man in time to stop Delaney man and ball, and he was giving away inches and pounds, but certainly nothing in heart, and he needed to make the tackle, and he did. And again, Huddersfield now finding it hard to bring it off their own line. That's a great carry from Craig Hooby.
Approaching the final quarter as we hear that Dennis Solomona has been sin-binned, so Castleford down to 12 men over at the DW and already trailing there, but by all accounts making a pretty good fist of it, and they've been good to their word that they'll try and take the points off Wigan and upset somebody else's apple cart on this final evening of the regular rounds of the Super 8s, the regular rounds of the season, I guess, as Danny Brough puts a kick in. Leeds now have been turned from one end of the field right back down the other, where Zach Hardacre picks it up. That was an excellent set from the Giants.
Yeah, it was a great carry by Craig Hooby that just poked his nose through the tackle and won the floor. It got to his feet quicker than the defenders and played the ball, and just give Danny Brough that bit of time to have a bit of space to kick the ball exactly where he wanted to. And it was a 100-metre set, and now it's Leeds' turn to bring it off their own line. Great game of rugby league. Not many points. You don't need tries to have a great game of rugby league, Jonathan.
Now Mitch Garbett, for the first time for Leeds, swats off a defender, and they've got some momentum here. Stevie Ward shows a dummy and goes through it. Ward makes 25 metres before the Giants are back to tackle him just outside the Huddersfield 20. So Leeds, for the first time, break the field. Can they capitalise? Sinfield to Watkins on the far side. Watkins runs diagonally and gives it back on the inside to Hardacre. Zach Hardacre's got 2-3 Giants defenders around him. He's across the line, but he's been held up, says referee Robert Hicks. Again, fantastic defending from the Giants after making the error down here. When Garbett got through, they were able to cover.
Yeah, Joe Wardle it was who got underneath. Aaron Murphy involved as well, but it was Garbett, as you said, big carry in the middle that got Leeds on the front foot, but the Giants again somehow managed to make the tackle to sniff him out.
Maguire going to kick early, dink over the top here. It's a race for Brad Singleton, who gets there at the same time as the rather quicker Jermaine McGilvery. I think the ball was going to beat them both out of play, but it is McGilvery who's got a touch and turned it dead, says Robert Hicks, and so the first time in the game it will be Huddersfield who drop out.
Yeah, and couldn't take the gamble, could he? You're probably right, he probably was going to go dead, but great chase by, as you say, the big prop forward Brad Singleton, and somehow managed to get himself in the action, in the frame, in the money shot, shall we say, and McGilvery just couldn't take the risk that it was going to go dead. And I'd like to know the stat of when there's a dropout, how many players get injured under the posts. I would think it's pretty common. It's pretty common, shall we say?
You must know the answer to that, surely. How many games did you play when there were dropouts? Especially the team you played in, you were forcing probably record dropouts on opponents if you weren't scoring.
It was 5 metres in black and white when I played, so it was different rules. Well, that's a good dropout to halfway, and Ryan Hall will bring the ball back.
He certainly will for Leeds, and he's handed it on now to Zach Hardacre. Leeds just with a little bit of momentum, tails up at the moment. Watkins puts on a bit of footwork, tries to get through. Such a dangerous player, the England centre, just inside the Huddersfield 20. He's tackled. Burrow now to Delaney. Delaney takes play centre field towards the posts, and is finally apprehended about 5 metres out. Which way the Leeds going to go? Burrow's going to switch it to this near side, the left, the open side, where Maguire finds Jamie Peacock. 3 Giants defenders stop him. Again, there's just a little hush here. What's going to happen as a result of this set for Leeds? Burrow to Sinfield out to his right. Sinfield stopped by 3 claret and golds. Don Manfredi scored for Wigan meanwhile to help cement their chances of winning that game, but Garbett has it for Leeds here. 20-12 to Wigan there. 8 points apiece here, 17 minutes to go as Burrow turns to give it to Sinfield. Is it going to be a drop goal? There was a thought of doing so, but it all happened a bit too slowly, and his kick is picked up by McGilvray. Now Jermaine McGilvray is free inside his own 20 before being tackled by Jamie Peacock. The home support don't like it. I think it was from a little bit earlier in that passage of play. Maybe Jermaine McGilvray took a loose one round the head.
No, I'm not sure that the fans maybe thought that he'd took the ball in goal and he was trying to get to the 20, but he certainly wasn't, and it was great play by McGilvray right on his own line, and he spun out of a couple of tackles, and again, that's amazing defence from the Giants, and they're already, over halfway line. So what a great game this is. Really, really enjoyable game of rugby league.
Cruz Leeming gets it away to Brough. Brett Ferris down the left-hand side for Huddersfield. They've used up 5 in this set, but they've got inside the Leeds half, so certainly good yardage gain. Hanging kick from Brough. This is going to come up short of Ryan Hall, who couldn't get there. Bounced around and been picked up by Hughes. Still on the last tackle. Kutcher inside to Ellis. Jamie Ellis! Oh, Jamie Ellis has scored the try for the Giants underneath the post. The Rhinos let the ball bounce, and the Giants have come up with a try that, who knows, could be decisive. 15 minutes to go, and Huddersfield lead by 12 points to 8.
Super play again. Danny Brough torpedo bomb. Ryan Hall wasn't sure where it was coming down, let it bounce. It bounced back the way of Huddersfield, and they reacted quickest. Leroy Kudjoe saw that Ellis on his inside and passed him the ball, and then from 10-12 metres out, Ellis had the pace to get under the post. My last £10 I got in the bank, I would have bet that the referee would have gone to the big screen there, because there was a bit of, did he knock it on? How did the ball come back? Did it hit the floor from the second row forward? Jack Hughes, but he waved play on. I think it was the right call, and it ends with Huddersfield scoring under the post. Here we go. There's the kick. It comes down, so there's no knock on there. It's into Jack Hughes' hands. Did he lose it? It comes back into his hands. Into the arms of Ellis, and Ellis scores under the posts. Super play from the Giants, and you put that try down, Jonathan, to the defence at the other end. Great play from Huddersfield.
Yeah, they've certainly had the better of this second half, and now lead. And lead, in fact, for the first time in the contest at a vital time, because there are only 14 minutes or so to go. And Danny Brough should make no mistake with this conversion. Straight in front, 10 metres out, and the Giants now lead then by 14 points to 8. And as things stand at the moment, Wigan will win the League Leaders' Shield. Huddersfield will move into second ahead of Leeds, who, having led for so long, will be relegated to third place in the table and will have to come back here next Friday night to repeat the dose.
Yeah, wow. Wow, that would be a game, wouldn't it? Again, this one's been special. Imagine if it was to get to a grand final next week, would it be amazing? Great game again, and Huddersfield defence has just been absolutely special. And we're talking about the 3 teams of English Rugby League, aren't we? Wigan, Saints and Leeds, of course. And are Huddersfield becoming real title contenders? I think they are. I think the defence has really stood up today, and regardless of the result, this really is a 4-team competition, not just 3 as it was.
Looks like Wigan might have gone in for another try here, getting shots of another score for the Warriors. I think they're done and dusted over there, and are at the moment in pole position. Dom Manfredi has scored again for the Warriors, his 4th of the night. Jamie Ellis makes the break here. Ellis has got support on the outside, puts the kick in for Cudjoe, and will it bounce kindly for Leroy Cudjoe? Fantastic cover defence from Zach Hardaker, who anticipated and waited and got the hand in there just that little bit quicker than Cudjoe to turn it dead, and that, you've got to say, for the moment at least, has saved Leeds on the night.
Yeah, it has, but I'm not so sure there was any need for the kick. It's worked out well, but that ball could have easily have gone dead, and I think Huddersfield don't need to win the game. Huddersfield are in front. They don't, it's more about just playing down here and getting through the sets. Yes, another try would be fantastic, but it's more about playing the game at this end of the field and, backing the defence to stop Leeds getting past the halfway line. That one turned out all right. I'm sure when they review that, they'll say, kick, was that the best play? Maybe not.
So some tired bodies out there now after all this defending for these two sides. They've asked plenty of questions of each other, and at the moment it's the Giants who've come up with the better answers. 14-8 they lead, less than 13 minutes to go. Brett Ferris in possession, will play the ball now to Cruz Leeming, puts a pass in field to Danny Brough.
Sorry Jonathan, I'd take the one here. I'd take it now, get 7 points in front. I don't think there's 7 points left in the game. Well, it's easier now, they take 2.
Yeah, we'll see shots on screen of Huddersfield chairman Ken Davey applauding there. The penalty going the way of Huddersfield, and Danny Brough, unsurprisingly, says we'll take the 2, and this could be it. In such a tight game, to get 8 points in the space of a couple of minutes, it's huge as far as this game is concerned. That is not to write Leeds off completely, because after all, they are a champion side.
No, we're not writing Leeds off by any stretch of the imagination, but as I said, I'd have settled for 1. He's certainly settled for 2. Right in front, Danny Brough. It's been a big 5 minutes for Huddersfield, and again, you put it down to, and I'm sure Paul Anderson will do, if they get the victory at the end of the day, Jonathan, and when you chat to him, I'm 100% certain he'll say this win was built on fantastic defence, and they've been great tonight, the Giants defensively. The attack's been pretty good as well, but the defence has been right on the money from minute 1.
So just 11 minutes or so to go in this one. The Rhinos, that league leaders' shield has been slipping gradually from their grasp over the course of the last month or so, since those Wembley heroics, and at the moment it is going the way of Wigan, and the helicopter is probably situated somewhere like the Robin Park shopping centre just outside the ground at the DW. They lead, and comfortably so now, 24 points to 12 I think is the latest score from there. 4 tries for Dom Manfredi, 1 for Matty Bowen, plus 2 Bowen conversions, Luke Dawn and Junior Moores with the 2 for Castleford there. Meanwhile here, 10.5 to go. Giants 16, Rhinos 8. Ball in the hands now of Josh Johnson out there for the Huddersfield Giants. He's tackled, and they're going to go left, and Danny Brough is going to just try and eat away the clock here by putting in the grub kick into touch out on the far side. Leeds will get possession, but they're going to have to make 90 metres to register a score.
I'm just a massive admirer of Danny Brough's game, obviously playing that position myself as a player, and I watch Danny now, and I just wish he was playing in the England team at the end of the summer, and playing against the Aussies for a team that, no disrespect to Scotland, have a lot of admiration for the Scots, and but Danny's just an amazing rugby league player, and for me, he's the best halfback in our country by a long way, and I just wish that he could play for the English side.
Leeds then starting to play their own version of catch-up here, and are moving that ball a little bit more urgently. They're going to try some things off the cuff in these final few minutes. Might not be over yet. Stevie Ward stopped about 15 metres inside the Huddersfield half of the field. We'll play it now to Burrow. They're going to go right with Sinfield out there to Zach Hardaker, and now Callum Watkins tries to step his way through. That Giants defence has been just about watertight so far, although Joe Wardle has conceded a penalty for a reef in that two-man tackle.
They're coach killers, aren't they? Paul Anderson, if he had any hair, he just pulled it out, because that's a needless penalty. Tackle 4. Leeds going nowhere. Huddersfield dominating. Give away another set of 6 and you're back on your own line.
Giants then defending inside their own 20, because Peacock is tackled right on it, and now Burrow gets it away to Sinfield. Here is Adam Cuthbertson for Leeds. 3 Giants defenders around him, centre field. They're going to come left. Here's Maguire to Joe O'Moon. O'Moon's put the ball on the floor. It's picked up by Leroy Cudjoe, and Cudjoe could find daylight here. Cudjoe down centre field. The Rhinos are getting back in defence, and they've got back and finally stopped him near the halfway line. But moments like that suggest that tonight is going to be the night of the home side, and Leeds are going to be knocked off their perch. Wigan lead 25-12, a Matthew Smith drop goal over there, and it looks like they're going to be lifting that league leaders shield then. Danny Brough gets it away, and it's Huddersfield who've got it some 20-25 metres away from the Leeds line then, through Johnson. Now it's with Brough. Out the left hand side is Ferris. Brett Ferris hits a wall of blue and amber defence, headed up by Peacock and Sinfield. Danny Brough turns and gets it away to Ellis once more. Now it's with Johnson, and Josh Johnson held up on the 10. Last tackle of this Giants set. Brough picks it up right-handed and scurries away to his left, puts the kick in over the top. It's taken on the full by Callum Watkins over his own line, so Leeds will get a 20-metre tap restart with 7.5 to go.
Yeah, interesting kick from Danny. I didn't really, be singing his praises, but I'm not sure what happened there. It'd have been better just taking the one, at least to get the ball back in, or just kicking the ball dead, and at least they couldn't have got the quick tap as what they did there. But Huddersfield defence has been magnificent, and that's a knock-on. Penalty, says the referee. Hand in the road. That looked like a knock-on, but Huddersfield's defence has been bob on the money from minute 1, hasn't it? We've got 7 minutes left. Have Leeds got a try in them? You wouldn't bet against it. There's got to be a twist left in this season. There has to be.
Craig Hubie prepares to come back on for Huddersfield. Meanwhile, Leeds have restarted quickly, and Jamie Peacock has it for the men in blue and amber. They're just over 20 metres out as Cuthbertson turns and offloads to Maguire. Maguire trying to get through. Try for Gildart for Wigan means it's now 29-12 in their favour. That one done and dusted. Burrow here for Leeds to Sinfield. Now with Zach Hardacre. Hardaker's got support to his right, gets it away. Lovely flick pass from Watkins to Tom Briscoe, and Briscoe has stepped his way inside. Craig Murdoch called it. Is there a try in it for the Rhinos? They've answered yes, and with 6 minutes or so remaining, they've given themselves a little bit of hope. It's Huddersfield 16, Leeds 12.
Say it time and time again, champion teams find a way to get over the line. Champion players get something out of nothing, and Hardacre just stepped out of a tackle and had the presence of mind to get the ball over the top. The ball out the back door from Watkins was absolutely magical, and then Briscoe does enough to get himself in the corner. But not only that, he steps in a couple of metres, which makes the kick slightly easier for Kevin Sinfield. 5 minutes left. Hold on to your hats. The helicopters just maybe thought I better get in the air, Jonathan, and who knows, there's time left, and the season says every minute counts, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a try in the last minute to win Leeds the game.
Here's Sinfield's conversion. It's a good one. He's kicked it from wide out on the right hand side, so less than 6 to go, and it's Leeds Rhinos who trail by the 2 points here to the Huddersfield Giants at 16-14 to the home side. And what a game of rugby league.
What a game of rugby league, you're exactly right. And what Huddersfield can't do here is can't go negative. I mean, they've got to keep doing exactly what they've been doing, and they're walking up, and rightly so, taking every little second out the clock. But what they've got to do is they've got to kick long and back the defence, and what they can't do is give away a silly penalty. And that was crazy play from Joe Wardle, wasn't it? Just a nothing play. Absolute coach killer.
So 2 tries apiece in this one, but the Giants have the better of it, courtesy of a couple of kick penalties compared to 1 for Leeds. That is the difference. 1 goal kick. 16-14, 5 minutes to go. Peacock for Leeds, just outside his own 20. What a great night it's been at the John Smith Stadium. Here's Burrow to Stevie Ward as Leeds look to try and get through. Looks like Ward's got an injury here, and is Craig Kopjak, who's sportingly straight away called on the medics from the side to go on and have a look at young Stevie Ward. He's still hunched up on the floor, so a little bit of a stoppage in play.
And this is, Leeds didn't want this. Leeds had got a bit of momentum, and Huddersfield, a little bit of panic, and gives Huddersfield a good rest, and it also allows them to make the substitution, get Robinson back into the field of play. Cruz Leeming done really well in his little 15-20 minute cameo. But Stevie Ward and Leeds had gained some momentum, hadn't they? They'd got themselves almost back in the game, and Huddersfield can have a little bit of a breather now. But going back to my previous comment, all season we've said about every minute matters, don't you? And it's just written on it that it'll go into the last minute of the game, even the last play. Leeds will get a try and win and finish top of the league.
Yeah, there's no game like it when you see things like we've seen tonight. Neither of us could probably sit here and say it's the best game of all time, but I'll tell you what, it is right up there as a very, very, very good game of rugby league. We've seen 2 tries apiece. We've seen some absolutely magnificent defence. We've got the news coming in from elsewhere. We've been on tenterhooks with what's going on with that, and still, as it stands at this moment in time, with 4 minutes and 48 seconds on the stopped clock on the big screen away to our right, Wigan Warriors will win the league leaders' shield. They lead by 29 points to 12 against the Castle Tigers over at the DW. Meanwhile here, Giants lead 16-14. They would move into second place, and Leeds would be relegated to third, having gone into tonight's fixture at the head of the table. What a last night of Super 8's action. And Stevie Ward, the bad news here, the only real downside of the night is that we've seen this injury to Stevie Ward, who's had his injury problems in the past. He can't seem to put any weight on the right ankle or knee, and he's been helped off by a couple of the backroom staff, and so he won't be able to complete these last few minutes of the contest.
And by the looks of him, I don't think he'll play any more part in the end of the season, will he? Because he looks in a real bad way. Saying that, Sinfield did last week, and the powers of recovery of these guys and the medical staff these days, that they get the players in a remarkable fitness way to play after they look like they've no chance. But Stevie Ward looks like, if you're a betting man, his season's over there, Jonathan, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's just making his way off, and so play can restart, and it's Peacock short ball to Cuthbertson. I've forgotten now how many tackles had in this set before before that injury. Here is Maguire. We'll find out shortly, because it's Carl Ablett now for Leeds. They'd had quite a few, because they've now had 5, and they're just inside the Huddersfield half, and precariously Sinfield takes a pass. It's now got into the arms of Maguire, running laterally, just upended, flicks it out the back door to Ryan Hall, and Leeds, well, they got caught up with themselves there, 2 minds, and it's probably cost them about 25 yards of the field, because a kick would have been much more preferable. Yeah,
and I think Jamie Ellis has been magnificent today for Huddersfield, and it was him who, not only strong defence, but he was first to react to the loose ball, and gives you, as you say, instead of Huddersfield coming off their own line under a bit of pressure, they're already to the halfway line, and they could be finishing this set, right deep inside Huddersfield, inside Leeds half, maybe even inside the 10 or the 20, and I'm sure they'll try and finish with a scrum.
Robinson then to Jack Hughes, trying to bust the Leeds line. Beats Brett Delaney, but the ball's come loose here. 6 more, says that referee Hicks. So Huddersfield in a great position now, just to come up with something here. They don't have to score anything, of course, they're 2 in front, but they might want to try and just eat up the clock with a drop goal. They might want to play out the full set and stick the ball in the corner or over the Leeds line, or they might want to score a try, and Craig Kopczak is setting about doing that. Tackled on the 10. Robinson now to Hubie. Leeds would not want to clock off now, because that would be that. Robinson by the right hand upright gets it away to Kumatai, who spins and tries to get out of a tackle. They've used up 5. Here's Robinson picking it up at dummy half, backs into the Leeds defenders, stopped on the line, and Leeds have weathered that set. There are less than 3 minutes to go. Hicks just stopped the clock for a moment, and the Rhinos have got to go to full length.
Yeah, Danny Brough has just give Robinson the rounds of the kitchen there. He wanted that ball, but I don't think that's the worst play in the world. So it eats up the clock, and Leeds have got to come off their own line. For me, that was clever play, and that's a knock on. What's the referee going to give?
And there's a penalty to Leeds, which will be massive relief deep inside their own half.
George Williams just scored, I think, for Wigan, 37-12. That that game's well and truly over. This one, 2 minutes 24. I'm not so sure it's over.
Peacock. Hubie went skywards on him. Paul Anderson was seeing shots of him ironically clapping, I think, the referee as Ablett tries to break through just inside the Huddersfield half of the field. What Leeds would give for a clean break now. Burrow. Here's Singleton. Scored a few tries himself, of course, the prop forward this season. Not on this occasion. Stops centre field inside the Huddersfield half. Sinfield to Delaney, offloads it to Maguire, one-handed pass out the back door to Sinfield again, long ball this time to the right to Watkins. Watkins, two defenders up quickly, he's got Briscoe out the back door, turns and throws a basketball style pass infield to Zach Hardaker, who's wrestling with a Huddersfield defender before finally being hit from behind and brought to the ground. And now Carl Ablett's appealing to referee Robert Hicks for something here.
No, I think they're trying to get the referee. Zach Hardaker has been up, taking a knock, and Zach Hardaker's in an awful lot of pain there. It was Kopchak who was involved in the last one. Nothing in it again though, I don't think. It looked a fair tackle, wrapped round, and Kopchak, oh maybe, is it a shoulder? Did he have his arm round? Be interesting to see that one again. Here comes Kopchak. It's a shoulder with an arm, is it?
Oh. Here we go. Last minute or so. Well, gut feeling there would say shoulder.
I think he's got enough of his arm round, in my opinion. There comes the arm round after.
No.
Penalty.
Shoulder. Penalty.
2 points.
2 points. Yep. Now then, he's calling Kopchak out here.
Yeah, he's going to penalise him.
He's called him out. Now then, what will Leeds do here?
Well, Leeds will take the 2 because the draw gives them a home tie next week.
Yep.
Without a doubt, they'll take the 2.
They'll be happy with that if Kevin Sinfield can kick it. If they get the penalty, we're waiting for the decision officially to be made. Brian McDermott, we're seeing shots of him on the big screen, raising the 2 fingers. Penalty's been awarded.
Now this is a good one. Do they go for the win and the trophy, or do they go for 2 points and a home tie next week? I think, for me, there's no argument. You take the 2. You take the 2 for me, and you get the home tie next week, and you look at the bigger picture.
And indeed, that is what they've done, as expected. So there's nothing to say they can't kick this, and they can't score a point in the last few seconds to win it anyway. Or the Giants might get the ball back in their hands and have a long-range drop goal shot and still nick it. So we still ain't got a clue, even though we would probably back Kevin Sinfield just about every day of the week to kick this.
That is what I am. I'm pretty confident Sinfield will knock the 2 over. That is what I am confident of, but it's a poor way, isn't it?
Don't forget, of course, going back to Cardiff against the Bradford Bulls in that Challenge Cup final, he took the 2 one year and missed it. 22 metres out, he strikes it now. Is it good? It is. And Leeds have levelled it, and the clock is ticking away down below a minute. Huddersfield Giants 16, Leeds Rhinos 16. What's going to happen in these final few seconds? Will Huddersfield now settle?
Well, they can't, because Huddersfield have got to go short. Huddersfield need the ball back, and I don't understand why they're walking. They've got to play this. The clock has been stopped, I see, so they're okay. But Huddersfield need the ball back. A draw's no good to them. Great performance, but a draw means that they've got to go to Headingley next week and win. Now that's not beyond the Bonza. They've got a fair chance of doing that, but they'd rather be at home. I've even lost my words. Can't even think of what I was going to say.
So, looks as though the Warriors have got the league leaders' shield in safekeeping, but Leeds have the ball. There are 30 seconds to go here, and Zach Hardaker gives it to Carl Ablett. The Rhinos, having got level, will not want to relinquish that point. Now then, there's a bit of argy-bargy between Danny Brough and Carl Ablett. The clock's been stopped at 20 seconds. Would you back Leeds here to kick it deep and have a foot race for a Tom Briscoe or somebody like that? Because they don't want to drop it inside their own 20, and it's Adam Cuthbertson in possession for them at the moment. Huddersfield, meanwhile, would love them to cough that ball up around about now. with probably one play left in the game. Here's Maguire, dinks it over the top. Griggs has got across to it. It's going to be hacked on by Ryan Hall. Oh my word! I do not believe it.
And as we see it, I'm watching it as we see live now, and we'll go back to Jonathan.
Absolutely brilliant play from Leeds. The last play of the game, the players celebrate away in the left-hand corner. Robert Hicks has referred it to the video as a try. The video referees might have the last word in the season, but that was absolutely unbelievable. The Huddersfield Giants players, let me describe the scene, down on their horns. She's utterly shattered by what's just happened. They cannot believe it. Craig Murdoch, sitting alongside me, called it not 2 minutes ago that Leeds could win this with a last minute try. It was Danny Maguire's little chip over the top. I thought they might kick it long and go for the foot race. The bounce came back perfectly for Ryan Hall, just in terms of his momentum, to get it away from Scott Griggs, the Giants fullback. He picked it up cleanly and he galloped for his life to that left-hand corner, and Leeds Rhinos might just have got the most sensational end to this Super 8's campaign and lifted the league leaders' shield. Craig Murdoch, we're waiting for the decision. It's coming any second now.
In my best Yorkshire accent, Jonathan, I can't speak.
And it's a try for Ryan Hall. He's scored so many tries in Leeds Rhinos colours. There haven't been too many that have been more important than that, and Leeds have nicked it, and the helicopter pilot better get back on board and get that trophy back over to the John Smith Stadium right away.
We've said it, Jonathan, and we've said it since the minute one of this game, and we've said it, haven't we, that it was going to go right down to the last play of the game. Ryan Hall scored that try as the hooter sounded with no seconds left, and the irony of it is Ryan Hall's probably been the worst player on the pitch tonight. He's been, to Ryan Hall's standards, he hasn't been good at all. But when it really matters, he comes up with a play. Danny Maguire, how he's not nominated for Man of Steel this year, I do not know, because he's been absolutely magnificent for Leeds, and he just came up with a play that nobody else on the pitch had even saw, and he just perfectly weighted as well. And then into the arms of Ryan Hall, and the 5,000 or 6,000 Leeds fans that are here go absolutely mental, as you said. Every minute matters, every second matters, and Leeds are going to finish top of the pile. And what a season, what a season. And Leeds, the treble, is still well and truly on, Jonathan.
Here's Sinfield with the conversion attempt. Doesn't matter, and it misses for the first time tonight. He got one when it really counted to level things a couple of minutes ago, but that will be the hooter. The hooter has gone, and the Rhinos celebrate, and the Giants, well, they will of course live to fight another day, and that day will be next Thursday by the sounds of things, although that's not official confirmation. But it sounds like they will now be taking on Wigan on Thursday night, and the Rhinos will be at home against St Helens on the Friday night. I'll tell you what, Craig, I can't believe what I have just seen in the last couple of minutes. Huddersfield Giants, they have given everything they could possibly give. They dominated that second half for such a long period of time, and Leeds, on the back of 3 successive defeats, are staring down the barrel at a 4th, and probably just a season that was frittered away. Out of nothing, Ryan Hall has got on the end of that try. I'm lost for words. I'm still trying to keep talking. I think you genuinely are.
It was destiny, wasn't it? It was destiny there'd be a try in the last minute that would see the league leaders, change hands, and Wigan fans celebrating, Huddersfield up with 2 minutes left on the clock. Not only just up by 8 points with 3 minutes to go, and give away a stupid penalty. Come back to that, a stupid penalty for the Briscoe try, and then they give away a penalty to tie things up, and then in the last play of the game somehow, they get a try, and wow, what a season. You can't begrudge Leeds this, because they've been comprehensively, for me, the best side throughout this campaign this year, and they've somehow, as I said, they weren't the best tonight, But again, champion teams find a way to win when it really matters, and somehow they've done that tonight, and the trophy goes back to Headingley. But the Giants live to fight another day, Jonathan. You know, it's a learning curve, and you only get better at big games like this by being involved in them. And next week just comes a little bit harder. Instead of being here, they've got to travel 15 miles and go to Headingley. They're confident they can do it. How much is today taken out of them? We'll find out next Thursday.
Well, they're going to have to go to Wigan, aren't they? I think, because the placings remain unaltered, as they would say in horse racing parlance. The Rhinos stay top. Wigan have won, so they'll go level on points with Leeds 41. But of course.
So it's Huddersfield are at Wigan,
and St Helens 4. So Huddersfield will go to Wigan. That is a definite. And Leeds will be at home against St Helens, and that'll be next Friday evening.
Yeah, good thing we can say, Jonathan, though, that has come out of all this. It could be an all Yorkshire final.
Yeah, it could be an all Yorkshire final, and Giants have got to be proud with their efforts. They've gone and thanked the fans over on the far side. They'll be gutted with what's happened in these final few minutes, and Leeds will be absolutely cock-a-hoop, and that might just change things as far as they're concerned. That little dink over the top by Danny Maguire and that pick up by Ryan Hall, that could be the thing that swings them in favour of that treble that they openly saw around Wembley time. They've done the double of Wembley winners, a Challenge Cup, and now the League Leaders Shield. Will they manage to make it an unprecedented treble for the club in a couple of weeks' time at Old Trafford? Plenty to say about that, I'm sure, from St Helens next week. Wigan Warriors won over a DW by 37 points to 12 against our very own Castleford Tigers earlier in the piece. They had, well, probably more than a hand and several other fingers on that League Leaders Shield for quite some time. In fact, until just a few minutes ago, when Ryan Hall changed it all. And Leeds have won this game in the end by 20 points to 16. And it truly has been an absolute humdinger of a contest. I still don't think the Leeds players can believe what they're seeing out there on the, or what they've seen out there on the field at the moment. They're celebrating in a calm sort of style, and I guess for them it's all about let's not get too carried away. You know, we ain't won the grand final yet. We set out to do the 3. We've now done the 2.
I think the big question we've got to answer today, Jonathan, and again we won't be able to do that till next week. I think regardless of the result tonight, we knew Leeds had the ability to bounce back next week. Now Huddersfield have given absolutely everything down to the last little breath in their body to get the victory today, and it hasn't gone their way. Now this is sort of new to them, isn't it? You know, real big games coming to the end of the season. So how do they respond to this defeat? Do they go away and manage somehow to respond and somehow go to Wigan next week and get the victory? Or, you know, do they just say, oh, what could have been, you know, we should have been at home, we're not, and they fade away? I'm going to say Huddersfield aren't going anywhere, and I think they'll use this as a massive momentum, and they'll back themselves to go to Wigan next week and get the victory. It's not going to be easy, but I think if the Giants show that the mentality they did tonight, they're going to take some beating. And I wouldn't be surprised, Jonathan, if we see a rerun of this in a couple of weeks at Old Trafford.
Yeah, with no idea at the moment where the League Leaders Shield is. And there are stories coming in that it is currently being flown back in from Wigan. So we could wait around a while and wait for that presentation. Leeds are out there and clearly doing that, and the advertising board's been set up away to the right. The Leeds Rhinos fans away to the right. The Chadwick Lawrence end, which they've filled throughout the evening, they're going nowhere. They're just the same in number as they were during the match itself, so they want to stay and see the team lift this trophy. After all, there are only 3 to go for, and their team has now won 2 from a possible 2 so far. And well, just looking at the scene, the Huddersfield Giants mascot still out there, but their players have left the field. Paul Anderson apparently throwing his water bottle down when he saw that break and try in the last minute. And I guess in that respect, we think back to that moment in 2001 at times like this. You remember Knowsley Road, Bradford Bulls, St Helens. It's wide to west.
Wide to west.
Yeah. Chris Joynt on the end of that try, and it was very, very similar in terms of what it was, same side of the pitch, the whole lot, really, wasn't it? In replicating that in a sense.
You know, it's been an amazing season, Jonathan, in rugby league terms, and you know, I said earlier about us being, you know, self-critical of ourselves, and you know, we fear change and things like that. But if a Hollywood scriptwriter had came in and wrote this season, and he'd have wrote something like that, we'd have all laughed and said, "You're crazy." You know, nothing like that happens. We've just witnessed it happen. Not only the last minute, the last second of this season has seen the trophy from being presented at Wigan to getting in a helicopter to being flown back over here to come to Huddersfield to, you know, to give Wigan the title. Amazing game of rugby league. Did Leeds deserve it? Probably not. You know, probably not. Huddersfield probably deserved to get the victory tonight. But it's about the 2 points. It's about finding a way to win, somehow getting that win, and Leeds did it. You know, Maguire, Ryan Hall, who's been awful all evening, found a play from somewhere to get that victory and to get the win, and you know, all credit to them. They're a champion side and they live to fight another day. They win the league and the treble is still well and truly in their sights.
Yeah, unbelievable night, and it feels like a real privilege to have been here to witness a game as taut and as tense as that, and with such a thrilling finish. It really does. And well, we're just going to wait for this particular trophy to be presented to Kevin Sinfield, another one of the many that he has lifted in his tenure as Leeds Rhinos captain, which will come to an end, well, who knows, might be 7 days from now, or it could be in about 15 at Old Trafford. Would you be back in against them next week?
No. And do you know what the hard part of this is? You know what the hard part of this is, Jonathan, is that this is Huddersfield's last game of the season at home now. You know, so you know, some of these players maybe not play for Huddersfield again, and you know, this is the time to say goodbye and have a lap of honour and say thank you to the fans. You know, but unfortunately for them, you know, it's all going to be about Leeds because they've won the trophy, and rightly so.
Earl Crabtree just appearing over our left shoulders, and if we can get his attention, we might grab him for a minute actually and get his reaction to what's gone on out there. There's been an announcement about the League Leaders Shield. We're still waiting to see it. We certainly can't see a helicopter hovering overhead. The only thing up there are the floodlights and the moon, which has certainly been smiling on Ryan Hall, who's been brought across the near side of the field by the Leeds Rhinos media manager Phil Daly just at the moment, presumably to go in and maybe have a quick word with the press. Who knows? Although I imagine they're going to have to wait until the end. 5 minutes.
No, I think Ryan Hall's coming up to talk to the BBC. I think he's been brought up by the producer Craig Short, so he'll be speaking to them. But I'm sure if you want to grab Earl, we'll try and grab him now.
Yeah, Craig, if you wouldn't mind, go and give him a tap when he's finished, and I'll keep things going here, and we'll get some live reaction hopefully from Earl Crabtree from a Giants point of view. And very kindly Earl has come to join us. Earl, not out there tonight to have an influence on things yourself, but can you sum up from a Giants point of view what you feel about what you've just seen in those last few minutes?
Yeah, the last few minutes is probably a little bit different to what I would have said about the first 79, and I thought we were fantastic throughout the whole of the game. I thought Leeds were very good as well. It's a competitive game. We put ourselves in a great position to win the game. A shoulder charge, which for me, I just can't believe it is giving us a shoulder charge to level the game, and Leeds settled with that. They were settled with a draw, and then we just switched off. And I tell you what, you've got to look at the Leeds team and say well done, credit to them, because they stuck in right to the end, and that's what champion teams do.
And as far as you're concerned, you know, it's obviously a choker on the night, but you still live to fight another day. You're still in that semi-final that you've worked for all season, although a little bit tougher now. It looked like you might be here against the Rhinos again next week. Now you've got to go across the other side of the Pennines.
Well, as soon as the kick went over and they settled for that, we kind of knew, I think, that we couldn't really win the game. I mean, it doesn't really change anything. We was never going to finish in second place then. But then to switch off is the disappointing thing for us, and something we have to learn quickly. But, you know, it's not a bad lesson going into a semi-final. You know, you can't switch off. You go and beat Leeds, you may get a little bit of overconfidence. We definitely don't have that after the last minute.
We saw the players get round in a huddle there after the game had finished. What would they have been saying to each other?
I think the fact that we showed character through the whole of the game and not to be disappointed by one mistake at the end, if anything, learn from that. It's a lesson to ourselves. The way we played was absolutely brilliant, and Leeds, you could see by the way they celebrated how much it meant to them. I think they thought that they'd messed it up, and they had, and it was down to us playing so well. Now we got to take positives from that, gain confidence from that, and make sure we take it into Wigan and not let it happen again.
Well, you came into this game on the back of a 5-match winning run. You've only just been nudged out of this one. You've got to have a great deal of optimism that the final 2 weeks of the season can still be yours.
Without a doubt, I think the way we played again, it was good. Majority of the game competitive, like I say, but the way we attacked the line, I don't think we handled their defence very well. They shot up on the edges, they get up really hard on the edges and try and cut play down. We kind of played into their hands, and we didn't find a way until later on in the game when we started being a bit more direct, getting the ball early and then trampling over a few people as well. We seemed to enjoy it, and the second half we were a lot better until that last literally 5 seconds, 10 seconds of the game. And I keep looking back on that, and I'm just gutted for the lads because of the performance, the effort levels that they put in there. They're absolutely shattered. They are. It's taken a lot out of them, and hopefully now we learn again and we go again.
And how are you?
Good. Yeah, I'll be ready to go next week. No problem at all.
Great stuff. We know it's difficult at times like this when you've been beaten and in such circumstances. Great sport. Many thanks for coming and joining us live on Radio Yorkshire.
My pleasure.
Earl Crabtree then. Reflecting on that defeat for the Giants, who have ended the season in 3rd place, and the Leeds Rhinos have won that League Leaders' Shield against all the odds in those final moments. And while we wait for the trophy to appear here over in Huddersfield, we are just seeing once again replays of what happened in those final moments of the game and those key decisions of the second half. There was the try ruled out for Luke Robinson. Had he got a clean hold on that one, that could have been the big mistake that cost Leeds the game. That pass from Ryan Hall to Zach Hardaker, it didn't work out that way. Earl himself there, Craig, was just saying he thought it was a pretty tough call on Craig Kopchak for the shoulder charge on Zach Hardaker. Couldn't understand it.
Nah, I think it was a penalty, wasn't it? You know, whether the rule's right, another matter. But I think by the letter of the law, there was a shoulder, wasn't there? You know, and I was listening to Ryan Hall, just an interview he was doing with another station there, and he said Leeds had settled for 2nd place when they took the 2 points, and the mentality was, you know, we're happy to be at home next week and have another shot at winning this, and we'll take that. But then to somehow snatch that play out, and you know, for Ryan Hall, who, as I said, who's been pretty poor all night, and to come up with that amazing play and an amazing end to an amazing season of regular rounds of rugby league, and wow, how good are the semis going to be next week? You do not want to miss them. And the good thing is, Jonathan, we can do both now. Radio Yorkshire, we can do both.
We can do both. Fantastic, Craig.
And if Mark's listening, we're both available.
I think he's probably in the 19th hole with Brett Kenny at the moment. He's having a round of golf with him this afternoon. Great player, of course, that Brett Kenny was. But back here, some great players have been on display this evening, and some of them still out there at the moment. The Leeds Rhinos are collected and waiting for the trophy. You're missing nothing in terms of presentations. The fans are still here. And to be fair, some of the Giants supporters have stayed behind as well. I wonder if we can try and get a Leeds person up here live. I'm not sure whether or not you think you can entice somebody up. I know that Jamie Jones Buchanan, who's not played tonight, owes me a favour from when he didn't appear on a show earlier this summer. He might pop up, you know, and if you say that you've promised Doidge you'd do him a favour again because he missed out one night, he might just pop up live for us, you know.
I'll see if I can grab him. I don't think he's on the pitch at the minute, that's the only problem. And
might just be down dugout. He's certainly been around the place. It's great, isn't it, trying to arrange your interviews live on air, but this is live radio, folks. This is what happens. Here we got Phil Kaplan coming along as well. Phil might go down and get us a player off the field, actually. But no, Phil was with us before the game, of course, regular on Radio Yorkshire and editor of 4020 magazine. And Phil, I think it's fair to say that you might have something to write about in next month's issue.
You can't script sport, can you? Was that Rugby League's Aguero moment? I think you've got to pay credit to this is the best game of the season by a country mile. The defence was unbelievable tonight. The commitment from both sides, the last-ditch tackling above and beyond the call of duty on both sides was simply sensational. The one thing that has emerged from tonight is that Huddersfield can definitely win this competition. They can go to Wigan and win, unquestionably, if they've got that commitment. But how can you rule out this Leeds team? I mean, what other side on the last play of a game, when they've got it back to 16-all, that means a home semi-final, would on the last play even think of an attacking ploy? And for Danny Maguire to just try something when the clock's gone down to 0, for Ryan Hall, who's had arguably one of the most difficult nights of his professional career, to still have the belief and the backing to be chasing that ball, you cannot script sport. And the other great thing about tonight, it was nothing to do with the referee. We're not talking about video decisions. I mean, I know Paul Anderson's gone off about the penalty that Craig Kopczak gave away. Looked like a shoulder charge. But again, we shouldn't be talking about the referee. The referee was great tonight. He allowed the players to play. The players have conjured up the greatest drama you could wish to see on a sports field. And again, as we said at the beginning of the commentary, there are only 3 trophies that you can win tonight. You could see what that meant to the Leeds players when they scored in the last minute and realise that they've now got 2 of the 3. It's just been a sensational night of sport, and I hope that the wider world wakes up to the fact that this is something really, really special, and these guys are above and beyond most sportsmen.
You're remarkably composed, I've got to say.
It's just been a pleasure to be here, honestly. I could not have spent a more enjoyable 80 minutes watching those 2 teams produce a performance that will live long in the memory for its pure and utter commitment. I mean, the number of times both sides defended their own line was just pure sporting heroism. Absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, you've really got to feel for the Giants, because they've certainly given at least as good as they've got.
Well, I think the great thing for the Giants is that they can win this competition. They go to Wigan, they haven't got the home semi-final, but what they can do is play against the top teams for 79 minutes and 59 seconds. They've got to get 1 second more out of themselves, and they can win this competition.
And Leeds are making their way across to the advertising, the sponsors board in front of the Chadwick Lawrence stand away to our right, which suggests that the trophy is somewhere near. Many thanks to Phil Kaplan for his input once again. Bookended the programme for us. And Craig's pointing out there to say there's where are you looking, John?
The trophy's there. There's the trophy getting out the box now.
Oh yes, indeed. I was looking everywhere except at the right place. But here we are. We have got a shield, a shiny shield, the league leaders shield, and it's in the hands of Nigel Wood, who is now approaching the Leeds Rhinos team. They won the Challenge Cup at Wembley just 4 weeks ago, lost 3 in succession since then, almost had this one done and dusted as well. Then they looked like they nicked a draw, and that Wigan were going to hold this trophy until that blow for Huddersfield from Ryan Hall, and Kevin Sinfield lifts the league leaders shield, and Leeds have done a double, but the best might be yet to come. Craig Murdoch.
Yeah, it's an amazing sport, rugby league, and we're honoured and we're lucky, Jonathan, to watch this on a regular basis, and to be here tonight, an amazing experience. And as I said, for the first time in a long while, I don't think there really is a favourite going into the semi-finals. We've got 4 teams who can arguably all put a really strong case for them going to Old Trafford, and not only going there, but going there and winning the competition. And you're either a very, very brave man and lots of money, or very stupid if you're going to back any one of these 4 sides, because it really is close your eyes, get a pin and stick it in one of them, and if you do that, you've got a good chance, as people like you and I are supposed to have got some sort of knowledge on this game. It's up there. Leeds are, have won the 2 trophies so far. Can they get the 3rd? Write them off at your peril. Wigan coming into form at the right time, playing really well. Huddersfield have gone toe to toe tonight, and for 79 minutes were probably the best side. When it really, really mattered, they just slipped off and they lost it at the death. Will that be motivation for them to come back and fight another day? You bet it will. And then if anybody's got any sort of knowledge of any sort of rugby league, right sense off at your peril. I can't wait. 2 biggest weeks of Rugby League coming up in a long time, and I seriously haven't got a clue, Jonathan, where that Super League trophy's going.
Dates and times yet to be confirmed, but we think Huddersfield will travel to Wigan next Thursday evening in the first of those semi-finals, and Leeds will entertain St Helens on Friday evening in the second of them. The winners of the two will go forward, of course, to the grand final itself at Old Trafford on October 2 weeks tomorrow. Fantastic night here from the John Smith Stadium. You can hear the Rhinos fans going mad away to the right as the players are currently lined up displaying the trophy in front of the photographers. It's been a fantastic broadcast with you, Craig. It's been great to do. Many thanks for your input as well. And let's just summarise, if we can, the top of the table. Leeds Rhinos then, in the end, by the skin of their teeth, sit proudly at the head of it. 30 games played, 20 wins, 1 draw and 9 defeats, 3 of which had come in the 3 weeks before tonight. They got 41 points, and so have held off Wigan, who've beaten Castleford by 37 points to 12 over at the DW tonight. They are also on 41 points, but with a significantly inferior points difference, have run second. Huddersfield Giants remain on 38 with 18 wins and 19 defeats and 2 draws from their 30 games, and Saints level on points with them on 38 with 19 wins and 11 defeats, and they are 4th on points difference. Fantastic, breathtaking evening at the John Smith Stadium. You can hear that piece with Earl Crabtree on Audio Boom if you missed it or caught the back end of it and want to hear the full run on what the big Huddersfield Giants prop had to say. And he will be back for that trip to Wigan next week. We'll try and get our breath back before then. From Craig and from myself, Jonathan Doidge, many thanks for joining us on Radio Yorkshire this evening. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and you've got the chance right now to relive it all again, because here are the highlights.
Radio Yorkshire, your home of Rugby League on DAB, online and via the TuneIn app.